is Savardis. He's on the move, and they're going to look for Savardis in the corner. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the Profs will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's got a wide open receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Central goal, he scores! And it is a power play goal!
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon with the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Smith delivers. That's it back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship.
Live from Monroe High School in Monroe, New Jersey, PDF Sports Network welcomes you to another installment of Old Bridge High School varsity football, where tonight the Knights take on the Monroe Falcons in a huge divisional showdown. Good evening, everyone. My name is David Pizzuto, being joined by Joe Foreman. We are about 15 minutes away from kickoff here in Monroe as we welcome you to the PDF pregame show. And Joe, this is a big one. Both of these teams come in 3-3 overall on the season, but the Knights at 2-1 in the National Gold Division can take a big step forward in the standings tonight, taking on a Falcons team right behind them at 1-1 in the division.
A huge game tonight in more ways than one for Old Bridge as they look to break above the 500 mark on the year. First, any game between divisional rivals is a big game on the schedule for both sides. That goes without saying. However, the Knights currently sit right on the bubble in terms of qualifying for the playoffs. They will be among the teams that are in at the conclusion of play this week should they come away with the win, but that can change for the worse if they were to suffer a loss tonight. Whenever you play on the road, things can become a bit more challenging, but that's not the only hurdle that the Knights will need to overcome tonight.
Joe, the last time we saw Old Bridge, they scored a resounding win against East Brunswick a week after a convincing road win at South Brunswick. Last week, though, the win streak was halted in a 14-7 loss at Morristown, a game, Joe, where their offense just couldn't get things going. That doesn't get any easier tonight as they're down one of their top stars. Tell us more.
Among several players who will miss the game tonight is starting quarterback Brody Nugent. We've spoken about it plenty this season, but Nugent does it all for this offense. He's a dynamic playmaker on the ground and through the air, as we know, but he's also done a really good job of getting a lot of different pass catchers involved on offense as well. I'm not sure you can make up for the loss of Nugent if you're Old Bridge, but the question will be, can they do enough tonight to offset the loss of their starting quarterback? I don't think there's any question that they'll be looking for another strong effort from this defensive unit.
Their offense will need to get right on a short week and shorthanded, Joe, but maybe that is the best remedy for a team that did struggle last weekend, a short memory and a next man up mentality. As for the defense, Joe, what can you say? It's been stellar. They've given up just 4 touchdowns on defense over the last 4 games. Even in their loss last week, 2 great goal line stands really kept the Knights in the game. What is making this unit so hard to go up against?
Something that I've seen from this defense in every game that I've covered since week 1 is that they don't make anything easy for the opposition. What I mean by that is this defense doesn't see blown coverages lead to easy points. They don't miss tackles, and they make sure that the opposing quarterback feels the pressure from that defensive front for 4 quarters. Aside from the shootout in the opener against Woodbridge, this unit hasn't given up much. Since that game, they've allowed more than 14 points just twice, and 2 of the touchdowns allowed in the game against Piscataway came on special teams. However, the defense will also be without linebacker Thomas Kasoff and lineman Zach Florio. All of that being said, I think the Knights can certainly count on this defense to keep them in the game for 4 quarters, despite the absence of the team's starting quarterback.
All right, Joe, before we throw it to our first break, let's take a look at the Falcons. We are on their field tonight, and like Old Bridge, despite their 3-3 record, they've played some good football. 4 of their 6 games this season have been decided by a single score, and you know they are chomping at the bit to get back here at Monroe, coming off an absolutely heartbreaking loss at North Hunterdon.
It always stings to lose a game that comes down to your final offensive snap, even more so when that play was a 2-point conversion attempt that would have given you the win. It also has to hurt when North Hunterdon came in entering the night winless. That being said, much of what we spoke about in regard to Old Bridge also applies to Monroe. Like the Knights, you need to have a short memory if you're the Falcons. However, Monroe has to feel a bit more confident coming into this game, knowing that the Old Bridge offense and defense are both missing some key players.
Absolutely, Joe, and that sets us up for what should be a great showdown here. Little chilly on this early October night, but great conditions. Otherwise, we are going to step out, take a break. When we come back, we'll dissect this game a little bit further and get you ready for kickoff right here live from Monroe High School. It's Old Bridge versus Monroe on the PDF Sports Network.
Getting a home loan shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. At CMG Home Loans, getting a loan is simple. Our loan officers are here for you, with over 2,000 5-star reviews. When you're ready to buy or refi, we'll work together to find the loan you need for the home you love. CMG Home Loans. Simplified, trusted, committed.
Welcome to the All-American Ford Bronco Barn. That's right, we turned part of our showroom into a Ford Bronco Barn. All-American Ford in Old Bridge has the largest selection and best prices. Our Bronco Barn features custom Broncos, Bronco heritage signage, accessories, and more. All-American Ford in Old Bridge is truly your Ford Bronco headquarters, and there's something for everyone from the Big Bend trim level to specialty Broncos. Ride topless in a Bronco from All-American Ford. Visit us in Old Bridge or shop online at allamericanfordinoldbridge.com.
Since 2003, Elite Sports Physical Therapy of Morganville has developed customized care and physical therapy programs for thousands of athletes through evaluation and setting athletic goals. Whether a torn ACL, dislocated shoulder, or concussion is keeping you on the sidelines, our highly trained physical therapists can help you recover and return to the field or court in better shape than ever before. Come see what we are all about. Visit us at elitespt.com or call us today to book a consultation.
Welcome back to Old Bridge football here on the PDF Sports Network. Tonight, the Knights take on the Falcons of Monroe. Joe, both teams have been introduced to the fans here in attendance, and both teams getting ready here for the coin toss. And while we do have a few minutes Before the opening kickoff, let's talk a little bit, Joe, about some game planning for tonight. Of course, you mentioned the absence of Brody Nugent, the signal caller for the Old Bridge Knights. How does that change game planning, understanding that now your senior Brody Hunt has to take over?
Well, I think something that I've seen the Knights do really well this season is get their running backs involved. Even when the passing game is really humming and Brody Nugent is able to put the ball on the ground and pick up yards rushing the football, they've still managed to keep their running backs involved. And at the forefront of that is Jeremiah Dixon. And with a senior quarterback who has some experience, obviously, perhaps not as many starts as Brody Nugent does, but nonetheless experience with this team, you can hand the ball off to Dixon and get the defense to respect the run. If they respect the run enough, you could perhaps hit Monroe with some of those play-action passes that we have seen Old Bridge connect on for big plays throughout this season. Jaden Griffith still out there, a big playmaker for the Knights. He is someone who, if he gets into the second level off of a play-action fake and a defensive back bites on that play fake, it's going to be tough to track him down in the secondary, playing him from behind. One big passing play could go a really long way for this offense tonight in building confidence for their quarterback and in establishing a lead that then gives their defense a chance to play from ahead. I think the defense getting that opportunity to play from ahead is also going to be key tonight.
Yeah, and someone who can figure in and also be key tonight is number 15, Aiden Rios. Joe, only a freshman this season, but he has taken some reps at quarterback. We've seen him at running back. We've seen him at wide receiver. He could be that slash player that Old Bridge looks to in a game like this as well.
And those players who can do a little bit of everything are so valuable to a team. Rios on the roster listed as both a quarterback and a defensive back. If I'm not mistaken, in the last game I covered, they did attempt a double pass with Rios, if I recall, the last home game that I covered for the Knights. So we know that there are plays in the playbook for Rios to throw the football. He's definitely a player to keep an eye on tonight. Maybe he gets some reps under center. Maybe they go with a double pass and some unorthodox trick plays that we aren't accustomed to seeing, but we have seen that particular trick play, the double pass for Rios, called already this season, and it's definitely something to be on the lookout for tonight. He's a player who can do a lot of different things for this offense and perhaps even contribute on defense as well.
Absolutely, Joe, and those who have heard at least me calling some of these games know that I'm obsessed with the coin toss, Joe. I think it's the game within the game before the game takes off. We saw when Old Bridge played Edison, they won the toss and elected to receive because they wanted the ball in their offense's hands to set field position. This time around, Joe, they defer. Winning the toss, they will put their defense on the field first as we step aside for the playing of our national anthem. Nice visual of the setting sun here in Monroe, New Jersey, but all eyes now turn to field level where a big showdown in the National Gold Division set to take place between Old Bridge and the Monroe Falcons. Familiar rivals, Joe, obviously, being division rivals, these two teams are, and of course, whoever wins today is going to be in the catbird seat, Joe, pretty much in sole possession of second place in the division and primed for what could be a playoff spot at the conclusion of the regular season, which is 10 games long.
And it's very possible, Dave, that the loser of this game could find themselves on the outside looking in for the rest of the season in terms of playoffs. So this is a huge game for both teams. And obviously, if you're Monroe, you have to be coming into this game expecting to have a good performance here tonight. The Knights are without some key players, and if you're the Falcons, you have to come in thinking, we need to get the job done tonight and come away with a win. They are at home. They have that advantage as well. And if you're Old Bridge, your defense has played great all season. You know you can rely on them. If the offense is able to step up tonight, there's no reason the Knights can't steal a victory on the road.
Yep, and one thing important to this Old Bridge team is a strong start, as you mentioned, Joe. In their 3 wins, they have scored 21, 21, and 24 points in the first half. The 3 losses, a little bit different, Joe, as they were held to single digits in all 3 of their losses in the first half. Night and day. Getting us started will be Tommaso Demetrio, the sophomore, will kick off for Monroe to either Griffith or Xavier Diaz back deep. And it will be Diaz. Stumbled with it at first, but is past the 20. Left side, 25, 30, and is out past the 40-yard line. And great field position at first. And I could have sworn, Joe, that Old Bridge had deferred winning the toss. I guess it was Monroe that had deferred and put Old Bridge's offense out there first. But how you win that battle is right here, winning the field position game right away. And check that box here for the Knights.
Well, I could have sworn the clock didn't start running until that play was about 10 seconds old, but who am I to call a clock operation? I am doing it for our live stream tonight, but don't discount special teams, Dave. That is a big facet of this game, and it could come up big for either of these teams tonight.
And obviously, many eyes on Brody Hunt, who works out of the shotgun. Nobody in the backfield, and now coming in, and the keeper will be Hunt, and Hunt gets right to midfield, where he gobbles up about 6 yards on first down.
Good start for the Knights. We mentioned the ground game could potentially get the passing game going. Also, some tempo early for Old Bridge as well. So we'll see how that affects the Falcons' defense.
Yeah, we've seen this before as well. It was Allsworth in motion the first time. He's back in motion. And once again, the fake is to him in motion. And Hunt goes left side, and they will move the sticks. That's a first down, another gain of 6 that time for Hunt.
Nice start for the Old Bridge offense on the ground, and you have to think that if they continue to run with some tempo, it could tire out the defense just a bit.
And they will continue to work with tempo. Once again, it's Allsbrook in motion. That snap was fumbled straight down, and doing well just to do something with it was Hunt, but he's going to be taken down after a loss of 1 or 2 on the play. As what didn't help was that Monroe was in the backfield pretty quickly as well.
That certainly didn't help, and obviously if you're going to look to keep the football on the ground, it is best to do so when plays are moving forward. When you get in 2nd and long, 2nd and 10 plus, it makes it tough to come out on 2nd down and run the ball. You never want to be one-dimensional as an offense. You always like to have that threat of the ground game available to you. And a spot like this, it's tough to put the ball on the ground. However, when your quarterback is a threat to run with the football, it certainly helps quite a bit.
Rohit Chawla was the first Falcon in to make the stop on Hunt, who was trapped about 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, kept it to a loss of only 2. 2nd down and 12 here. And it looked like the Knights might have been off. Looks like Allsbrook might have taken off a little bit too early. It'll be a false start on the Knights, so they'll go back another 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 17.
Well, penalties, definitely something that the Knights need to avoid tonight. Whenever your offense is hamstrung, be it by the absence of a player, field position, or any other variety of factors, penalties hurt that much more. And a drive that started in very promising fashion now gets set back just a bit by the penalty.
Yeah, and that's something that has ailed this Knights team in previous games, especially the games in which they've lost. They have committed a lot of infractions, and it's led to things like this. 2nd down and long here. We'll see if they can crawl their way out. Hunt yet to throw the ball here in the early going, but he will stand in the pocket, surveys, takes off, and does have the middle of the field, gets to that 2nd level, and just past the line of scrimmage, so it'll be a 3rd and about 9 coming up.
A big play here for this Knights offense, made much more manageable by that carry on the play from Hunt. And I think it's abundantly clear early in this game, Dave, he is a capable ball carrier as well. It seems to be a theme with these Knights quarterbacks, and 3rd and 9, a lot more manageable than 3rd and 17 or even anywhere past 10. And given that they had the 2nd and 12, I think you'll certainly take a 3rd and 9 in this spot. Big play coming up in what might be 4-down territory.
I was going to say the result of this play will certainly impact the decision that Coach Donahue makes on 4th down. But on 3rd and 9, Knights will go with 5 wide receivers. Griffiths is in the slot, and he may have taken a few 2 steps, but no, it'll be a timeout called by Old Bridge. They want to discuss this a little further.
Certainly can't argue with that. This is a big play early in this game. Obviously, you'd prefer not to burn a timeout within the first 3 minutes, but I think the Knights know how precious each and every possession is going to be in this game. And when you have field position on the plus side of the 50 and you have a chance to get the perfect play call in on 3rd and 9, I think you certainly have to take it. I doubt they would go for it here. If they got close, I think they probably would go for it. I would say you need to get it to about a 4th and 2, 4th and 3 at most to consider it here. But that would put you inside the 35-yard line. So I think that is definitely on the table, something to watch ahead of this 3rd down snap.
They went with 5 wide when they lined up, and they will continue to do so. 3 here, trips on the near side. Griffith is in the slot. He's always a big target on long plays down the field. Osbrook comes in motion. Right to left, right behind Griffith, and they're going to run all the way with Hunt. Hunt gains the 35 and will spill forward for the 1st down.
Quarterback draw, Dave. That looked by design to me. We'll get a check on it on replay and see if perhaps there was a read to be made on that play. That being said, given the pre-snap motion, I think that was by design. We'll get a very quick look at it, or perhaps not, as it looks like the Knights are ready to snap it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They go right back, and this time, first pass of the game, and that one's dropped by Osbrook in the flat. Would have been good for a gain of about 4 or 5 on the play. Good toss by Hunt to get his blood flowing in the passing game, but it'll be 2nd down and 10 as we back up and take a look at that last play.
Well, the Knights almost caught me with that tempo and getting a look at it on replay, Dave. I think that was by design. Nicely executed by Old Bridge. A bit of misdirection on the jet sweep motion from Allsbrook, and immediately Hunt, accelerating up the field, was able to pick up 1st down yardage, now 2nd and 10.
So 2nd down and long. They were stuck with a 2nd and 17 in the last 4 downs. Allsbrook will come in motion. Left to right, and the give is to Allsbrook, and he's sweeps to the right side, gains an angle, inside the 10. Allsbrook is in for the touchdown.
And there's a big play on the ground early, Dave. We said it during the pregame. The Knights wanted to capitalize on the ground early, and to strike for a big play in the 1st quarter, you can't do much better than that. Here's another look at it. They ran the pre-snap motion on the quarterback draw. This time they do hand it off. This time Allsbrook takes it all the way into the end zone for 6. Touchdown, Old Bridge, and what an opening drive for the Knights. You can't do much better.
Not at all, and even though our vision was obscured, Allsbrook had nothing but green in front of him when he turned that corner. Great job of blocking down the field as well, as the left-footed Michael will come in to try and seal this touchdown, and it's true. It's 7-0 in favor of Old Bridge on their opening drive that goes 59 yards.
So nice. We'll see it twice, Dave. Here's one more look at the touchdown. As I mentioned, they ran a play fake on a similar motion from the near sideline. This time, Allsbrook coming from the far sideline, and this time, Hunt hands him the football, and he just showed off some great breakaway speed as well. The Falcons really didn't have much of a chance to make a tackle on that play. They did converge just a bit in the 2nd level, but by then, Allsbrook was already running with a full head of steam for the end zone, and nobody was going to stop him on his way to pay dirt for the 1st touchdown of the evening. The Knights go in front, 7-0 following that extra point. And if you're Old Bridge, you have now given your defense that opportunity I spoke about earlier, the chance to play from ahead. That changes things quite a bit for a defense, and now they get that chance here. Obviously, the special teams unit will need to do their job first. We've seen kick returns burn Old Bridge earlier in the season. Obviously, the Falcons would hope for something similar. The Knights special teams hoping to prevent that, of course.
Something lost in all that. Allsbrook, a fellow freshman on this Old Bridge Knights team. Still plenty of career in front of him, and he just made probably his hugest play of this season. End-over-end kick ends up at about the 12-yard line, and there Monroe takes it straight up the field. Anthony Salisi on the carry, and he's just shy of the 30-yard line. And I think, Joe, that Allsbrook made up for that drop on first down.
I think he sure did. And if you're going to have a dropped pass, I think the situation you'd like to have one is on first down, a short route underneath with your body moving down toward the turf. Because in that spot, a drop will not turn into a pick. It does not put your quarterback in a position where a turnover is at risk. And obviously you still have 3 more downs if you need them. So Allsbrook more than makes up for it with a touchdown run. Falcons take over, trailing by a touchdown.
All right, 1st and 10 for Monroe, their opening drive of the game. It is at their own 28-yard line, and it's going to be a pass to the right side, incomplete. Macaluso, of course, was looking for Salisi on the run-pass option. Tucked it down, and Salisi was open in the flat, but the pass came in a little bit too hot. So 2nd and 10, it looks like Monroe will work quickly as well. Teams with the similar color scheme here. Monroe in the all-purple. The only difference, and that one in the flat. Good job of blocking right at the point of impact at the line of scrimmage, but gaining the first down on the play was Logan Fodiatis. Definitely butchered that one, Joe.
That's all right.
Fodiatis.
It happens to the best of us. I've been tongue-tied quite a bit, and the cold weather doesn't make it any easier. But I think it's abundantly clear early in this game, if you're the Knights defense, you have to be on the lookout for this short passing game, for this screen game, because on these first 2 snaps, the Falcons have looked to get the ball out very quickly underneath with blockers ahead of their receivers.
Michael Sabio with a nice block on that at the line of scrimmage. To spring Fodiatis on that last one. Now looking in the middle of the field. That one is caught right at the 45-yard line. Catch by Salisi, taken down by Valinati, just shy of the 45 at the 44. So it'll be a 2nd down and 5.
And that's what you're looking for on first down. Quarterback gets the ball out fairly quickly, not as quickly as we saw on the previous snap, but a low-risk throw over the middle, picks up 5. It keeps the offense moving in the right direction, and perhaps more importantly, it keeps the entire playbook on the table here on 2nd down and 5.
Valinati with the tackle, among the tackle leaders on this team, along with number 5, Zamir Evans, who occupies the middle. We'll have to compensate for the loss of Kassoff here in this game. Motion, and they toss it out to the left, gaining the edge, and the first down at the 50-yard line once again was Fodiatis. And so it will be a 1st and 10 inside of Old Bridge territory.
First down Falcons, and we do apologize if our video streaming is a bit laggy at the moment. Our internet giving us some problems here in this first quarter. We are operating on a hotspot outdoors. No wired internet tonight, but if it does appear on your screen, here's a look at that last throw and catch. Once again, the ball out very quickly, blocking set up in front of the receiver on the short screen pass. And the Falcons early in this game appear committed to this short passing game, whether it be on first down or following downs beyond that.
Macaluso once again will work out of the shotgun, and it's the pass, shovel pass in front. Gains about 5 yards again. Another pass receiver on the play. That was Sabio this time. A little bit of misdirection here, but Macaluso making some quick decisions.
And I think that's
from his sideline. Sabio switches from the left to right side. Macaluso out of the shotgun, and the give is underneath to Sabio, and Sabio taken down promptly. Nice job that time by Jaden Endaz to make the play. Short of the first down, it'll be 3rd and about a long 2, short 3.
And on that play, they tried to get the Knights biting on a play fake there, or at least assuming it was a play fake and potentially throwing the screen pass. They did choose to hand it off, and that brings up 3rd and short.
6 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Monroe on their first drive of the game. Now we'll take some time here. They haven't huddled, but they will take their time. They relay the plays in. Macaluso with Sabio once again to his right. In motion, Bayomi. And the give is underneath once again to Sabio. Hesitates at the line of scrimmage, and the Old Bridge Knights are there to meet him. Balbuena was there, along with Tajay Walker. It will be 4th and short, and undoubtedly here, Monroe fixing to go for it.
And we'll see if they hurry to the line, but before they can, here's one more look at that last play. Nothing gained on the ground there on 3rd down. The Falcons line up to go for it here on 4th.
They will try to work quickly here. In motion, left to right. Macaluso trying to gain that edge, and he throws it down incomplete. Didn't look like Macaluso wanted to run it at all, Joe, from the outset. Instead, the pass to Fodiatis was low and inside. And Old Bridge holds, and they take over on downs.
And perhaps a bit of indecision there is the reason he had to throw that ball low. As if he takes off immediately, I think that was going to be his only chance. Once he decided that he wasn't going to run, he lost the opportunity to do so and was forced to throw that ball low in a spot where only his receiver had any chance. Unfortunately, in ensuring that, he made sure his receiver had no chance as a consequence. And now the Knights will take over with just under 5 minutes to go here in this first quarter.
Right, 4:59 left, first quarter. And we have look, I don't think Hunt expected the snap there, and neither did half of the offensive line. So we'll see if this backs up the Knights, and it will. So we'll have a 1st and 15 here.
Well, immediately after your defense makes a big play to get off the field on 4th down, you hate to begin your offensive possession with a 5-yard pre-snap penalty. And I think more than any other penalty, those pre-snap penalties are the killers. You know, sometimes you'll commit a holding penalty in an effort to protect your quarterback or to prevent a run from getting blown up several yards behind the line of scrimmage, but there's never a good time for a pre-snap penalty.
Second penalty for Old Bridge here in this quarter. Both false starts. And there is the give to Griffith around the edge. Turns it up towards the middle of the field and now goes right side. Trying to gain the first down and will be right there at the sticks. Looks like he got it. They will advance. It's 1st and 10. So Griffith starts left, pivots over to the middle of the field, and then cut it out off tackle right for the first down.
Well, we said it during the pregame, Dave. When you talk about playmakers on this Knights offense, you can't help but talk about Jaden Griffith.
Yeah, and Griffith was ailing a little bit this week with some tenderness in his legs, but gave it a go tonight, and Old Bridge thankful for it, as it looks like he's a full go. And now we're going to have a pre-snap penalty on the Falcons, so they give 5 yards back. It'll be 1st and 5 here. Ball at the 44-yard line of Monroe.
And the Knights will certainly take that extra help.
As we approach 4 minutes here in this first quarter, big drive here for Old Bridge, up by a score on their opening drive. There's the play. It'll be up the middle to Dixon. Dixon goes nowhere, stood up at the line of scrimmage. Dixon, too, Joe, hobbled by leg injury during the week. Wasn't sure if he was going to get a go here in this one, but on the short week, he is able to get his first carry, as we do have an injury here for the Falcons.
Yeah, one of the Falcons are down, and I think if there was one surprise on that first drive for the Knights, it's that we didn't see Dixon get a carry on that opening possession. The Knights put the football in the hands of several different players on that opening drive, and perhaps that makes Dixon a bit fresh here on drive number 2, and Old Bridge with a chance to give him the football and perhaps ride the hot hand on the way to the end zone. However, that will have to wait with the injury down on the field, and with that injury, we'll get a look at that first down run by Jaden Griffith.
Yeah, so backing up to that nifty play, but once again, we did hear prior to the game that Dixon was limited in practice this week. It makes sense, short week, but 50-50 going into tonight, and he does in fact get the nod here, as really good to see on the opposite side, Aiden Davidson get up and trot off under his own power to the Falcons bench. So all good there. But after no gain on 1st and 5, it'll be 2nd and 5 from the same spot.
This defensive possession, a big one for the Falcons. You hate to fall behind 2 touchdowns early. That being said, with a very capable kicker, Old Bridge doesn't necessarily need a touchdown to go up 2 scores as well. They're probably about 25 yards outside of field goal range here, perhaps even a bit less than that, with the ball spotted at the Monroe 44.
Yep, Old Bridge only threw 1 pass on their opening drive. It was incomplete. Other than that, it was 59 yards all on the ground. Griffith is in motion. Hunt takes it down and now is looking sideline direction for Griffith, and it was too far extended. Also in the neighborhood was Olivencia cutting to the inside on the long post route. Not sure who that might have been intended for. I believe it was for Griffith, Joe, but it was about 6 yards ahead of him.
Yeah, you can't see the tail end of the route run by Griffith on this replay, but what we could see from where we were seated is that the ball landed just a bit to the inside of Griffith. He really didn't have a chance to make any play on that one, and you could see once he realized that neither he nor the defender had a chance, he eased up a bit as that pass fell incomplete. And you have to keep the defense honest and show that you're willing to throw down the field, and I think that demonstrates that willingness right there.
Earlier tonight, Old Bridge had a 3rd and 9 from about this area of the field. We're able to convert. Now it's 3rd and 5 from the 44. Chance to extend the drive. Allsbrook in motion. The fake to him, and Hunt gets creamed at the 45-yard line. He lost a yard on the play. And coming in hot and making that play was Joseph Caputo, the junior.
Well, we saw in the opening drive that they gave the Falcons that same exact look on the offensive side. It helped them convert that 3rd and 9. They do not convert here, as you'll see on this replay one more time. Allsbrook, the motion man, once again, and unfortunately, he could not divert the defense away this time. If you're the Knights, now Monroe here on defense will look to make a stand on 4th down. The Knights are keeping the offense on the field.
Yeah, and remember, Joe, that down their quarterback is also down their punter is Old Bridge. Now, we have seen other players punt the football for Old Bridge, and there's a fumble on the shotgun snap. It's still loose, and getting to it is Monroe. Down on the play, and the ball dead there. But Monroe will take over in great field position. John Lawless comes up with a loose ball.
Well, we've seen errant snaps hurt the Knights earlier this season, and unfortunately, they have a poor snap in a really bad spot this time on 4th down. Not only do they turn it over on downs, but they surrender about an extra 15 or 20 yards in field position as that fumbled snap skipped back a bit, and now the Falcons will start well into Knights territory with the ball spotted at about the Old Bridge 38-yard line. So if you're going to fail on 4th down, that's certainly not the way you'd like to do it. Obviously, you hope to avoid those kinds of miscues on any down. It stings, especially in that spot.
Yeah, officially a loss of 18 yards on 4th down. Sets up Monroe here. Macaluso out of the shotgun. He's looking right all the way. Now tucks it down. Wants to run left. There's a holding call coming up, and it is thrown away by Macaluso at the last second. Good job by Macaluso to get rid of it, but this one's coming back regardless.
Another 1st down penalty. We've seen quite a few of those already in this game on both sides. On that last drive, the Knights committed a pre-snap penalty on 1st down. The Falcons then gave 5 yards back with a pre-snap penalty on a 1st down, and this time the Monroe drive begins with a holding penalty. Keep in mind, with the quarterback outside of the tackle box, that throwaway was legal. It did reach the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think Old Bridge was protesting that he was in the grass when he threw that, but not the case. Either way, 1st and 20. Macaluso now with trips on the near side, closest to us, and it will be a throw in the flat. It is complete. 50-yard line, 40, and with a head of steam and knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Great catch and run that time by Logan Richter, the sophomore.
That's a bit too easy if you're Old Bridge defensively. Sorry to cut you off, Dave.
Not at all. No, and I think it's the blocking at the line of scrimmage, Joe, that really is the difference here. You could see it on your screen, things developing. Looked like very congested in that area of the field, but not to be. Big hit that time by Endaz, and does not allow Sabio to get off tackle. Sabio came up without a helmet on that play. It'll be 3rd down and long, 3rd and 8.
Those big hits add up over the course of a game.
Yeah, and Sabio comes out of the game now, and in to replace him is John Muir Devereaux, the sophomore. Looking up and down this Monroe roster, a lot of underclassmen on the roster, freshmen and sophomores. Of course, a healthy mix of juniors and seniors as well, but like Old Bridge, relatively young team.
Here's a look at the tail end of that play, the big hit that brought that play to a close, and multiple Knights got in on that tackle, and you hate to see any of your players take hits like that.
Endaz laid that one out. The give is to Devereaux, and Devereaux's going to get held up. Looked like Evans was the first one to give him a shoulder and then doubled back and finished him off. But also in on that play, Endaz again. So it'll be 4th down and a long 7 yards coming up with 45 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. Devereaux out, Lockhart comes in as they'll get another receiver in the game. Will the Falcons, and they will go with 5 wide here on this play. 3 to the far side. In the slot is Bayumi. Out of the shotgun, Macaluso. Seems like a passing play all the way. Macaluso hard count. Looks towards the sideline and takes another couple steps back. 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Macaluso is going to kick it instead. Short kick. It's a good one. And it's pounced on at the 5-yard line. And the Knights were the team that got on it. Joe, that was kind of dangerous, as that one, if it would have came out, would have been trouble. But it was Justin Birch pouncing on top of it about the 5-yard line.
Yeah, a play like that won't make your special teams coordinator very happy. Only bad things can happen by getting on top of that football. You'll see here on the replay that not only does trying to dive on that risk touching the football without securing it, thus giving the Falcons a chance to recover. However, doing that also prevents any chance of the ball skipping into the end zone. I don't think that ball was headed for the end zone. I think the Falcons were going to get there, but there was definitely a chance that that ball could have ended up in the end zone.
We are officially through 1 quarter here at Monroe. It's Old Bridge 7 and the Monroe Falcons nothing. We're going to step aside for a very short break. When we come back, more Old Bridge Knights football. We are at the end of 1. It's 7-0 Old Bridge.
Getting a home loan shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. At CMG Home Loans, getting a loan is simple. Our loan officers are here for you every step of the way. With over 2,000 5-star reviews, when you're ready to buy or refi, we'll work together to find the loan you need for the home you love. CMG Home Loans. Simplified, trusted, committed.
12 minutes complete. Old Bridge with a 7-0 lead over the Monroe Falcons here on the road. David Pizzuto alongside Joe Foreman. Pat Gialorenzo on camera here tonight. Glad to have you with us. And Joe, the good news that Old Bridge able to stop Monroe on drive number 2. Once again, after giving them good field position at their own 38. The bad news, they have to start this one from their own 6.
Yeah, this always puts you in a tough spot as an offense, but when you've had the effectiveness on the ground that the Knights offense has tonight, it makes it a bit easier to start this deep in your own territory.
And it will be Hunt giving it straight through the middle and being held up at about the 10-yard line. I believe that was Dixon on the carry. Maybe I'm wrong. That could be Rios as well. Got a bad vantage point here. Obscured by a lot of linemen. We should mention that we are calling this game from right in the middle of the Old Bridge fan base here, right in the top row of the bleachers that don't extend as high up as the ones on the far side. That's why our angle is a little bit low for this game. What's helpful, Joe, is that we're surrounded by about 200 officials, too, who are able to call the holding penalties.
Completely unbiased as well. 200 completely unbiased aspiring referees.
But awesome fans here, Old Bridge faithful coming out and joining our team here on the road. Stone's throw, of course, from Old Bridge Township here in Monroe. Beautiful athletic facilities here. And it looks like there was really no gain on that play, Joe.
No gain, and they stopped the clock at the conclusion of the play.
Yeah, now they've reset it. 11:40 to go, and the give is once again up the middle, and Monroe not having it, bunching them right up. I'm still not quite sure who is carrying the football, Joe, back there, unless it's, looks like, not quite sure.
Yeah, I'm basically taking in all of the game through our monitor as I operate the clock and the replays.
It might be Alan Schechter back there. The fullback might have gotten that last carry. Now he's lining up as the tight end. It looks like Endaz. Endaz is back there, Joe. Yeah, 22. On 3rd down and long. The give, once again, is off tackle. And Endaz able to extend to about the 11-yard line, maybe the 10, just short. So a gain of 4 officially, and Old Bridge will have to punt.
And Dave, we've seen it before. These punts backed up against your own end zone, oftentimes can become problematic. That being said, they did pick up a very valuable 4 yards. It's not the drive you wanted. Obviously, you would have loved to have picked up a first down or 2 on that possession. However, just getting out of the shadow of your own goalposts, very important. Give your punter some breathing room. As you mentioned before, Dave, minus your quarterback, you are also minus your punter.
And it is Santos, who has taken a few punts this season. That's actually a very good one. High hang time, and the fair catch is made at the 45-yard line. So a punt of 35 yards, no return. As calling for fair catch on the play was Anthony Salisi. But for the second straight drive, Monroe will start it from the Old Bridge side of the 50.
And we have seen Monroe do some good things on offense in this game. They've been at their best when the screen game has been the focus of their offense. On the ground, yards have been tough to come by. That's no surprise against this Knights defense. They've been great against the ground game all season, facing one of the best teams on the ground. A few weeks ago at South Brunswick, they turned in a tremendous effort defensively, and I think they're going to need more of the same tonight. It seems the Falcons now have decided they are going to force Old Bridge to put the ball on the ground, not allow the quarterback to keep it and run. We'll see how the Knights respond.
Macaluso will work out of the shotgun. Wholesale realignment here. 4 wide receivers on the left side, and they will work it once again in the flat. Catch is made, and getting to the edge, so about the 39-yard line was Fodiatis again. And a good catch and run, a gain of about 6 yards on the play. Make it a second and a short 5, long 4.
That's when they've been at their best, Dave. Get the ball out of the quarterback's hands quickly, set up a screen. Earlier, they tried to fake a screen and hand the ball off. The Knights are committed to stopping the run. So it seems anyway early in this game.
Yeah, knowing how good Old Bridge is in the middle of that defense. Macaluso in trouble. That one is broken up and almost picked off. Looks like Evans got out there, and along with number 3, Michael Kavas. So 3rd down and 5 coming up. Big play here.
Well, Dave, we're getting a look at just how close that one was. It was not only tipped, it was nearly picked.
Yep.
A lot of bodies between our camera operator and that far sideline, but that was a very dangerous throw. And if that is picked, it could be 6 the other way.
Absolutely. And Monroe living in the flats here, setting up those passes to either sideline. Macaluso this time looks middle of the field. Now it's to tuck it down. Running right side. The chase is on, and Macaluso cannot extend for the first. Great job on the play by Walker once again. Macaluso's a big kid, Joe, but Walker able to take him down from behind.
That is some impressive backside pursuit. You'll see it again here on this play. It looked like Macaluso had a step and definitely a chance to pick up a first down, but the Knights defense denying him. And he didn't only come up short, he came up well short, 4th and about 3.
4th down and 3 indeed. Macaluso was joined in the backfield. It's going to be an immediate keeper for Macaluso. He gets stood up. No first down. Endaz finishes him off. Evans was the first one there. And Endaz finished him. And Monroe is 0 for 4th down in the game. Old Bridge will take over on downs.
And you have to love that job done by the Knights defense, rallying to complete that tackle. It's too easy to take those for granted. Sometimes on 4th down, you'd think that multiple defenders would rally. You see that on every down from this Knights team. It's not just 4th down. They tackle like that on each and every play. That time, Macaluso gets stood up, and the defense of Old Bridge makes sure that they come in to complete that tackle, not allowing the big quarterback to fight for any extra yards. The offense right back out there for the Knights in much better field position.
9:10 remaining in the first half. Hunt with Griffith in motion. Fakes to him. Hunt will take it right through the teeth of the defense. He has a room, 40, 35 before he's knocked down, and they were tugging on that jersey, Joe, and if he was not slowed down, that could have gone to the house.
And they did not only tug at the jersey, Dave, they were trying to punch that football out as well. Good job by Hunt to secure it, and another big run for the Knights starting quarterback. Who said Brody Nugent's the only quarterback on this roster who can carry the football? It seems a lot more like a scheming thing.
And now it's Griffith going off tackle right. There is a flag down way on the far side of the field. And we'll see what this call is, but once again, you have to respect Hunt. And it looks like there's been no pay attention to the flag, Joe. We saw it. Pat and I did. And here's the give, opposite side to Griffith. Griffith looks to gain the edge, does, and gets spilled at about the 12-yard line. There was definitely a flag thrown on the previous play.
There sure was.
Definitely.
There sure was.
And before they had a chance to even – now the flag is called, Joe.
All right.
So
let's rewind a bit.
Yeah.
We're going to take the down and distance off the screen. I did capture the replay where the flag occurred.
Right.
So let's see if we can spot it. Here's the play where the flag occurred. We were actually getting a look at the big run by Hunt when the flag was thrown. We caught the tail end of this play.
It's thrown by the corner official.
Well, let's see where they back up the Knights to now as they respot the football. We'll get one more look at it.
And it is going to be a first down and 20. So maybe they did just nullify the previous play, Joe, because I don't know.
It's first and 20, so
Yes,
they had
okay.
to have assessed the flag. The previous play obviously picked up the first down,
Right.
the big run by Hunt. That was a first down carry. We then had a flag for holding on first and 10.
Right.
That set up first and 20. That last snap completely nullified.
Okay. But now we have a timeout, and it's taken by Monroe. So with 8:16 to go in the second quarter, we have a charge timeout to Monroe High School. We give Old Bridge a chance here to sort this out, first and 20 situation from the 30-yard line.
Well, manual clocks, a lot harder than I thought, Dave, especially when your fingers
Yeah.
are cold.
100%. Joe is not only doing color commentary, but doing our replay system and handling our scoreboard operations here, as we are from opposite the press box side of Monroe High School, behind our team here, the Knights, and the temperature dropping. That being said, Joe, not bad here for a mid-October night. We've been treated to some great weather, and one of the reasons why we're able to do this game tonight is, of course, the absence of rain. So we've been getting lucky here at these days and temperature dropping, but that's okay with us.
No question about it. I did come prepared. We have the thermal under the company hoodie, so we're in good hands in terms of staying warm. But
I did bring my gloves and beanie hat as well, but they are in my
the
backpack,
beanie was a good
which
choice.
is underneath the bleachers right now. Save us some space. Hunt with Allsbrook in motion. He will take it all the way. Drops back in the pocket. Middle of the field. Wide open. Touchdown. Pass to Johnny Serrano, who somehow split the defense. The safeties went left and right, and Serrano's was right in the middle, wide open.
He was wide open indeed, Dave. Here's another look at it on replay. Who said big plays have to come exclusively on the ground tonight? Hunt airing it out down the middle of the field. Not a Falcon in sight as Old Bridge is on the board for 6 more. Big play to go up 2 possessions, looking to make it a 14-point game pending the extra point.
Michael on for the extra point here to give Old Bridge the 14-point lead here, just about midway through this second quarter. The kick is true, and with 8:09 to go, it's 14-0 Old Bridge. And on their first drive, when they scored a touchdown, Joe, they converted a 2nd and 17 hole. And on that one, 1st and 20, no problem. Let's just hit Serrano, middle of the field.
And big plays have been a staple in the Old Bridge offense tonight. We spoke about it during the pregame. Throughout the season, we've seen a lot of big plays from Brody Nugent carrying the football. We've gotten a very similar play from Brody Hunt tonight carrying the football. The play-action game often has been a source of big plays for this Knights offense. They didn't need any play fake on that last play. Hunt in the shotgun, throwing deep over the middle. It doesn't get much easier than that in terms of a touchdown of that distance. There was nobody within 20 yards of the intended receiver on the play. That always makes it easy for a quarterback. Huge play for the Knights to go in front by 13 at the time. Now 14 following the extra point. And the way your defense is playing, if you're Old Bridge, you have to feel pretty good about a 14-point advantage in this game.
And Joe, I could be wrong. I think that's Hunt's first completion of the game. He's only gone back to pass a couple of times. He had the one drop. Of course, the misfire here on this side of the field, which was in between 2 wide receivers. I think that's his first completion of the evening. Not bad. 30 yards, 2 30-yard touchdowns for Old Bridge in this one. A 30-yard run by Allsbrook and 30-yard passing play. And this one down in the corner spills into the end zone, so it'll be a touchback here, and Monroe will take over.
Well, this drive just became much more important for Monroe now, down 2 possessions in this game. We've seen it time and time again from this Old Bridge defense. They make things so difficult on the opposition week in and week out. The Falcons have been relying very heavily on the screen game. And as I said before, the Knights defense has seemingly been committed to making sure that Monroe cannot hand the football off. They've chosen not to sell out on the screen pass. When Monroe tried to fake a screen pass and handed it off, the Knights did not bite. And I think that play really sent a message in this game. You are going to have to put the ball in the air to beat us. We'll see if the Falcons can do it.
The wide receiver screens have worked for Monroe. Other than that, they have been bottled up offensively as well. Macaluso in the flat far side. The catch is made. Nice job of hanging on to the football by Fodiatis. And gain of about 5 or 6 on the play.
That's a good start to the drive once again. Pick up something on first down. Keep the run on the table moving forward. You can't allow this Knights defense to take the run out of the game completely. When you pick up 4, 5, 6 yards on first down, it keeps the running game very much involved in the offensive attack.
Monroe hasn't really been able to do much with the ground game. Macaluso's keepers have gone nowhere as well. Their strength has been the pass here. Most of them to the flats, but that one about 5 yards up the field. Fodiatis just a 5-yard route and back, and here's another wide receiver screen. And once again, they get the edge and the first down. Pickup of 10+ for Logan Richter.
Another one that just seems too easy on the surface. But when you're committed as a defense to making sure Monroe can't run the ball, sometimes you're going to give up that screen pass on the outside. Monroe.
Timeout on the field with a 3rd and a long 8 coming up for Monroe.
And we'll see if perhaps we can make out what happened at the end of that last play. It was a big collision in the hole there following that handoff. Here's a second look at it. It looked like he went in low on that tackle and then ended up grabbing at his left knee. So you hate to see any play end with a player immediately going down and grabbing at a knee. That's usually a bad sign. Hyperextension a lot of the time is the best you could hope for in that case, but I won't speculate any further than that. Maybe even knee-to-knee contact, though I think that's unlikely given the nature of that tackle. And obviously, we hope that he's okay.
Yeah, and they are, of course, shorthanded, as we mentioned time and again, with Kassoff not being available. And it looks like he is under his own power, although getting some aid going over to the sideline. That's still a good sign here for the Knights. And if you're a Knights fan, and meanwhile, when we get back to action with 6:25 remaining, it's a 3rd and a long 8 here for Monroe. And unlike previous drives, this is not an area of the field where you would think they would go for it on 4th, especially with the unsuccessful 4th downs that they have already in the books. Big play here. Fodiatis in motion. It's Macaluso throwing all the way. Takes a long look, has to tuck it down, looking towards the middle of the field, and he gets popped by Balbuena. Walker was also in on the stop, well short of the first down. And on 4th and 6, it looks like Monroe will have to punt.
And that was a big hit indeed by Noah Balbuena at the end of that last play. We'll get one more look at it right here. As you'll see it, the big collision at the end of that run. And that shut down any chance of a Falcons first down, if there was any. Big hit there. Balbuena definitely got the better of that collision.
Demetrio with a line drive kick. It sees green, and it takes an Old Bridge bounce. Otherwise, ends up at about the 29-yard line, 28-yard line to be exact. That is where Old Bridge will take over with a 2-score lead and possession with 5:41 to go in the game's second quarter.
And I said it during the pregame, Dave, what has really stood out to me about this Knights defense all season long, they don't make anything easy. They've committed to stopping the ground game tonight. Monroe has had nothing on the ground. Anytime they have put the ball on the ground, whether it be from the quarterback position or the halfback position, A lot of those plays have ended with some really big hits. They've been willing to concede the screen, specifically along the sideline. It's tough to get beat for a touchdown when the pass catcher is so close to the sideline. As long as you close that gap and make the tackle, the Knights have done that tonight. Nothing has come easily for Monroe.
Both teams 3-3, but Old Bridge a half a game up in the standings, 2-1. So Monroe's 1-1. Coming in across is Allsbrook. He is going to take that one on the end around, but he gets held up, breaks the tackle, able to spin away, gains the 40, and here come the wheels by Allsbrook, and the freshman is out at the 35.
Remember what I said before, Dave, about taking tackles for granted?
Yep.
I think the Falcons took that one for granted in the offensive backfield. You'll see it here on the replay. Tough to get a look at exactly who it was, but one of the Falcons had his back to the play. Allsbrook was on his way down, and the defender, not realizing that he had managed to break away from that hit, didn't make the tackle. You see it right there, and my roster is buried beneath a mountain of paperwork, but when I get to it, I can tell you that unfortunately it was Shaheed Dance Parks who was unable to make the tackle in that spot. He had his back to the ball carrier, and not realizing that Brooks had broken away, he didn't make the tackle. Now there is a player down at the end of the play on the Old Bridge sideline.
I'm wondering if it's Allsbrook, but that was a gain of 37 yards on the play, and what should have been a 2 or 3 yard loss. And, you know, you won't see missed tackles in the box score or the score sheet, but there's one that costs Monroe 37 yards of real estate. And Allsbrook does get up, however, he is hobbling. And for a Old Bridge team that has been banged up, there's another one off to the sidelines. Allsbrook has had a very eventful night here. He scored a 30-yard touchdown run, and there was another huge run for him. Dixon comes back in the game and will line up wide on the far side of the field. Actually now lines up in the slot. Hush has come over this crowd here, but the give is to Griffin. No, yes, it is. Faked me out a little bit.
That was some fake, Dave.
Yeah, I thought Hunt was going to keep it, but a gain of 5 yards on the play.
I sure thought he was going to keep it. No question about it. And we've said Jaden Griffith's name quite a bit over the course of the season. Perhaps we don't say Amari Allsbrook's name enough. He's had quite the night so far, and we hope he's able to get back into the game, but a huge evening for him to this point.
Yeah, he's on the trainer's table right now. That gain closer to about 8 yards. Second down and a long 2 coming up. Hunt, long count. Looks middle of the field, and that one incomplete. Not sure if he expected Rios to come in on a slant route there, but Rios kind of held up. But it'll be third down and a long 2 here coming up. But figure a passing play there, Joe, because you have some options here on 3rd and short.
The entire playbook is open on 3rd and short, and that's something you hear quite a bit when it comes to these 3rd down, and in this case, 3 to go. But you can run it knowing that you have 4 downs to get it if you so choose. You can obviously put the ball in the air and try and pass it short, and some offenses even elect to perhaps fake a screen and send a player down the field to take a shot at the end zone. You can also keep it with the quarterback, who on this play is Aiden Rios.
Yeah, so Rios with Hunt to his right side. Interesting look here. Rios, the freshman, in motion. Rios going to take it himself. Has a seam. Good job by Monroe to hold him up. Otherwise, he was gone. But that's an easy first down. And Old Bridge is set up inside the red zone.
And the Knights so far in this game have found a way to get a lot of players involved. Obviously, the 2 quarterbacks this evening, Hunt and Rios, both getting some action under center, but Allsbrook, Griffith, as always, Dixon. They've gotten the big fullback involved as well. Just about everyone who's been out there on the field for Old Bridge has managed to get involved. Also, how can you forget Serrano, who caught the touchdown? It's so easy to forget that one quick strike touchdown, but it's been a really nice night, getting a lot of playmakers involved, something that Brody Nugent has done so well all season.
Yep, and this is something that has really been Old Bridge's calling card, is opening up the offense more and more with each week. You can see the confidence beginning to build as the Knights have called a timeout here in this situation, 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. But it's something that we've remarked throughout the season. I know you and Nick have called a couple of games, Joe. Myself and John noted it earlier in the season, myself and Nick a couple of weeks ago, in that seems like every week they peel off another layer and give you something else to really think about, whether it's the screen game, whether it's the downfield passing up the middle of the field, Dixon coming out of the backfield. They just keep giving you different looks, and as a defense, it's so hard to prepare.
And I think when you look at this offense, I'm not sure there's a single player out there who is not capable of taking a handoff or a short touch pass or receive a jet sweep behind the line of scrimmage that then isn't capable of taking it to the house. Any player on this offense is capable of carrying the ball from behind the line of scrimmage and taking it to the end zone for 6. That is so valuable, especially when 2 of those players are quarterbacks.
Right. And throw into the mix that this is a short week for both teams. Both teams played on Saturday last, only 3 days to prepare for this one. Tough scout. Hunt. And the give is to the motion man, Xavier Diaz, but he doesn't go anywhere. Nice job that time by Monroe to bottle him up in the middle of the field. Dylan DeGraw was the first one in.
And now with Old Bridge getting closer and closer to the end zone, they are still choosing to run this offense with some tempo. I think perhaps we may see them slow it down just a bit and try and bleed some clock here before halftime.
Yeah, there is 3:20 remaining here in the first half. Diaz once again in motion. A little bit of uncertainty there. Now the throw. Diaz does make the catch. And I'm not sure where he went out of bounds. Looks like they're saying about the 11-yard line. Nice job to make something out of nothing on that play. Looked like Hunt was unsure about what he wanted to do there, but flaring out to his right was Xavier Diaz, and he made the play.
Well, I need the replay on that one, Dave, because I did not see where that ball was thrown or caught. So many bodies along that far sideline. I thought Hunt was going to keep it, and here you see near the tail end of this play, he just flips it at the last second to Diaz, and that resourcefulness at quarterback, another very important trait for any signal caller, especially in an offense that likes to get the quarterback moving as much as the Knights do.
Dixon lines up behind Hunt in the pistol set. Flare out two to the wide side. The give is up the middle, breaking a tackle, and surging forward was Dixon. It looks like he has the first down. Indeed, they give the signal, first and goal for the Knights.
And that's a big carry there by Dixon. When he took that handoff from Hunt, I didn't think he had a chance. It looked like the Falcons were there defensively, but as you'll see here on the replay, Dixon, a big-bodied running back, low center of gravity, power runner up the middle, and we've seen that all season long. When he carries it between the tackles, he can pick up yards after contact. That's always important for a halfback, especially in those third down and shorter situations, though. On 3rd and 4, I thought they may go with a play fake there and try and throw it. They ran it right at the teeth of this Monroe defense and won that battle.
4 wide receivers set now. Dixon still in the backfield to Hunt's left side. Motion coming in, and the give is to Diaz. Diaz breaks towards the middle of the field, still turning the legs inside the 5 and ends up at about the 2-yard line. Good hard running inside by Diaz.
So was there a timeout called there, Dave? Because it looked like the clock had stopped at some point. I was way off with my time. But
2 minutes and change now.
Yeah.
Coming down.
We're good now.
So getting a little heavier. Old Bridge bringing in Noble Haran, the junior, coming in. So here we go. 2nd down and goal from the 2-yard line. Old Bridge with an opportunity to put a stranglehold on this game with just about 90 seconds to go. They are up 14-0 and looking to go up by 3 scores.
Watch the pre-snap motion into a throw here. Heavy backfield.
Endaz is the deep back, but they give it to the up back, and the fullback is in, and that is Zamir Evans. A rare carry on the offensive side for Evans. He's in for the score. It's 20-0. In favor of Old Bridge.
And we've spoken so much about this Knights defense all season long. The offense really putting their stamp on this game in the first half. Once again, the defensive unit not allowing any points. That certainly doesn't hurt, but the offense has done more than their share tonight, especially given the circumstances, missing several key players on both sides of the ball. The Knights deserve a ton of credit for what they've done here in the first approximately 23 minutes of this game, and they'd love to see this effort maintained for 4 quarters.
So Michael with the point after to complete it. It's up, it's good. It's 21-0 in favor of Old Bridge. And if you're the Monroe Falcons, Joe, you have to deal with Zamir Evans in the middle of that defense. And now you got to deal with him on offense, too. He's the fullback on the play. He gets the call.
Yeah, Evans, a name that we've said plenty of times on defense, now obviously there on offense. I didn't even get a chance to look up before he had the ball and powered it straight into the end zone. So often when they've gone shotgun on the goal line, we've seen some pre-snap motion into a throw. I look up and saw a full house backfield. That's not a look that we've seen from the Knights in games that I've covered anyway this season. A new wrinkle in the offense. The play calling tonight has set up this offense for success. A ton of credit to the offensive play callers and really across the board for Old Bridge so far in this first half. I'm not sure you could be any happier with how this game has gone thus far. If you're a fan of the Knights, that being said, still plenty of football to be played. You need to close out this half with a stop. Don't let the Falcons take momentum into the third quarter with a late score here in the closing minute and change in this first half. And I think if you accomplish that as Old Bridge, you have to be thrilled with who you are heading into the locker room.
100%, as we have 80 seconds remaining in this first half. Monroe will have a chance. See, by our count, the Monroe Falcons have one timeout remaining. So not out of the question for them to put a punctuation mark on this half, but and remember, they do get the ball first in the second half as well. But right now, Old Bridge in full control. Michael will fix to kick this one off. His last kickoff was not fielded and went into the end zone. This one is sent a little bit shorter, and it is allowed to bounce on turf. Salisi picks up at the 15, gets bottled up, and is able to pull forward just shy of the 20.
So the Falcons will have a pretty long way to go here, and we don't talk about special teams enough sometimes. There are weeks where obviously special teams rears its head in a game and you can't help but remark on it, but if you can set your offense up in that spot with great field position following a kick return, that makes such a big difference. And early in this game, the Knights got things started with a nice kick return. It set up their offense for early success and a score on their opening possession. We've seen more than one Monroe possession start very deep in their own territory.
So, interesting way to play here. 1 minute, 14 seconds left in this first half. Of course, if you're Monroe, the last thing you want here is a turnover, so you got to play it somewhat safe. They do go far sideline in the pass, too high and over the head of Bayomi. And good coverage there by the Old Bridge Knights. Endaz was in on the coverage and was right in the hip pocket of Bayomi.
And I think we'll see a bit more of that as this game progresses. Now with Monroe trailing by 3 scores, those are chances down the field they have to take. They've leaned on the screen game very heavily, haven't been able to pick up much in terms of positive yardage on the ground. They need to try and spread out this Knights defense. That may open some rushing lanes because right now those rushing lanes aren't there. They obviously can't afford to run it on this drive if they want points. Downfield attempts have to be made.
Macaluso once again out of the shotgun. He will look on the screen on the far side. Vadiatis and the cavalry comes in for Old Bridge. Evans led the way. Xavier Diaz was there as well. Valinati was there to finish him off as well. Gain of about 5 on the play, 3rd down and 5. We are under 50 seconds here remaining in the first half. And that's the other thing if you're Monroe, you do not look
We have
for.
Old Bridge with 1 timeout.
Yeah.
So
I think
assuming
they take
a good
it. Yep.
punt, they shouldn't have much time and or field to work with. It looks like Monroe may let this run down and then take a timeout. We'll see here.
Yeah, they're not in any bit of urgency here to snap the ball, and assuming that they need to go 75 yards here, it'll have to be on one play. We have approached 10 seconds remaining. Undoubtedly the last play here, and now we have a whistle, and it will be a timeout. Final timeout called by Monroe. They were probably up against the play clock there, Joe, and with 5 seconds left, they'll just hang it up there high, perhaps looking for the defensive foul. But try to get all of it here in one shot.
That's what I expected there from Monroe. I think at the very least you want the defense to think perhaps we're going to try and take a shot downfield. Maybe you get the defense to then burn that final timeout. You can take a knee. The Knights did not oblige. They did not call a timeout. Monroe took the play clock all the way down to its conclusion, called the timeout of their own, and now if they take 5 seconds on this final play, the half is over. I'm not even sure they take a shot downfield. Maybe they just run it backwards and then take a knee or slide. Maybe they do take a shot down the field and go for a defensive foul. Whatever you do here, you cannot let the Knights touch the football again in this first half. That goes without saying. Just 5 seconds on the clock.
Or perhaps another wide receiver screen, Joe, as they have broken a couple of those for
double pass?
10 plus yards. Yeah, you never know.
If it's in the playbook, I'm not sure there's a better time.
And they have 3 here lined up on the near side. It's crowded here, but it's Macaluso looking opposite side. That ball is deflected, and with 1 second left. Oh, now they ran that last second after the incompletion. There was 1 second left, and they let it trickle down. That will be the end of the first half, I think, Joe. I
had to wait just a second.
No, they are going to force them to come out and do another play. I think
that
that's
was not 5 seconds.
Yep. Well, Joe, as soon as that pass was incomplete, I looked at the scoreboard. There was 1 second, and it stayed at 1 second for a long time, and then I saw it trickle down. So I think the timekeeper was trying to play a few games up there in the press box. Yeah, nice try. Didn't get to him. But if you're Old Bridge now, maybe you send the house here at this punt.
Oh, you sure do.
But it is a shanked kick, but not the end of the world. That second did come off, and that will now be halftime here. We are through 24 minutes, and Old Bridge in full control, 21-0. Joe, the Old Bridge Knights are 3-3 this season. In their 3 wins, 21, 21, and 24 points at halftime. Look at the scoreboard now. It seems like history repeating itself.
Sure does, and the Knights have had a lot of success against Monroe Township. They're off to a pretty good start here tonight as well. As I said before, should you go into the half not allowing any points, I'm not sure you could feel any better about the way you played in half number 1 if you're Old Bridge, and they did just that. They made it to halftime without allowing a single point. So right now there's 3 minutes on the scoreboard. We're going to break for a bit more than that when we come back, the second half between the Knights and the Falcons.
Yep, full complement of commercials coming up. When we come back, we'll get you ready for half number 2. Old Bridge in full control, 21-0. Stay with us. This is Old Bridge Varsity Football here on PDF Sports Network.
Getting a home loan shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. At CMG Home Loans, getting a loan is simple. Our loan officers are here for you every step of the way. With over 2,000 5-star reviews, when you're ready to buy or refi, we'll work together to find the loan you need for the home you love. CMG Home Loans. Simplified, trusted, committed.
At Bagel Boy Bagel Shop in Old Bridge, we're more than just bagels. Come visit us at 2329 County Road 516, where we bake our bagels and bread fresh daily, have the freshest fruit and veggie platters, and an assortment of sandwiches and plates that are sure to satisfy. Bagel Boy.
To buying and selling a home, do it with Peter Hunt's Home Team, powered by Century 21. For years, Peter has dedicated his life to the real estate industry, offering help and care to all of his clients. With experience and proven results, Peter is an award-winning realtor and the top producer for Century 21 Action Plus. A resident of Old Bridge, put Peter to work at selling your home or finding the home of your dreams. Call 1-800-299-2129 or reach Peter directly at 9086-014-934.
Rainbow Lettering is a leading custom apparel and print services provider and now a proud sponsor of Old Bridge football. For over 30 years, our extensive experience in the industry has allowed us to perfect our decoration capabilities, which include screen printing, heat pressing, embroidery, and sublimation, making us a one-stop shop for all your custom apparel needs. Let us serve you. Visit us at rainbowlettering.com. Call us at 607-732-5751.
Yeah, I felt like the second quarter.
Getting a home loan shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. At CMG Home Loans, getting a loan is simple. Our loan officers are here for you every step of the way. With over 2,000 five-star reviews, when you're ready to buy or refi, we'll work together to find the loan you need for the home you love. CMG Home Loans. Simplified, trusted, committed.
Welcome to the All-American Ford Bronco Barn. That's right, we turned part of our showroom into a Ford Bronco Barn. All-American Ford in Old Bridge has the largest selection and best prices. Our Bronco Barn features custom Broncos, Bronco heritage signage, accessories, and more. All-American Ford in Old Bridge is truly your Ford Bronco headquarters, and there's something for everyone from the Big Ben trim level to specialty Broncos. Ride topless in a Bronco from All-American Ford. Visit us in Old Bridge or shop online at allamericanfordinoldbridge.com.
Since 2003, Elite Sports Physical Therapy of Morganville has developed customized care and physical therapy programs for thousands of athletes through evaluation and setting athletic goals. Whether a torn ACL, dislocated shoulder, or concussion is keeping you on the sidelines, our highly trained physical therapists can help you recover and return to the field or court in better shape than ever before. Come see what we are all about. Visit us at elitespt.com or call us today to book a consultation.
We are back here live from Monroe High School, Monroe, New Jersey, where the Old Bridge Knights up 21-0 here at halftime. Joe, they've officially put a couple of minutes on the clock and will count us down here to the second half. But obviously, the scoreboard says it all. Old Bridge up 21-0, a pair of 30-yard touchdowns, one by Allsbrook, a 30-yard run. Serrano caught a 30-yard touchdown pass from Brody Hunt, and then Zamir Evans, a 2-yard run as the fullback. Second score of the second period made it a 21-0 game, but Monroe has some work to do.
Yeah, they certainly do, and I think the number one obstacle they need to overcome on the offensive side of the ball anyway is figuring out how to put points on the board while Old Bridge is completely shutting down the ground game. We've seen a lot of screen passes. We have seen them take one or two shots down the field, but that's it. They really haven't posed much of a threat throwing the football downfield. And I think until they do, this Old Bridge defense can comfortably sit around the line of scrimmage and make sure the Falcons can't hand the ball off. If they don't prove to be a threat throwing the ball down the field, it's going to be just as long a second half as it was a first half.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Monroe will get the ball first here in this second half when we get things started. But, Joe, one of the things that you talked about in the open was just how prolific this defense has been for the Knights. They have not given up over 2 scores in a long time. And even the last time they gave up over 14 points in a game was a game where they gave up 2 of those touchdowns on special teams. Defensively, they are continuing to hum along here, and they're just doing just about everything right.
Yeah, they've made everything incredibly difficult tonight. I highlighted it during the pregame that all season long they've made things difficult on opposing offenses. But tonight they haven't allowed the Falcons to run the ball at all. When they have looked to throw, they haven't given the quarterback much time. And when they've handed the ball off, it's really gone nowhere. The screen passes have been the lone source of positive yardage for Monroe tonight, and that just hasn't been enough. I think if the Falcons could have come up with one more big stop on defense in that first half, this game looks a lot different. Down 3 scores, you have to be feeling a sense of urgency when you receive the second half kickoff. I might even go as far as to say that the entire field is 4-down territory, depending on how long your drive takes. I don't think you go for it backed up against your own end zone, but if you have the ball anywhere near midfield with a 4th down and anything less than 10, I think there's a good. I think all of it starts with something I mentioned during the first half as well. Maybe special teams can make a play. You need a nice kick return here. A lot of these Falcon drives have started deep in their own territory, and Monroe will have a chance to change that in just a few moments.
Absolutely, and kind of a subcontext to this game has been the injury bug biting Old Bridge. Of course, we know about the injuries coming into this game, but on the training table for most of that halftime and continuing there, Michael Kavas has his shoulder pads off, Joe, so it looks like his day is done. He came out, I think, in the early stages of the second quarter. And Allsbrook, one of the touchdown scorers today for Old Bridge, Amari also was getting some attention in the trainer's table. I can't quite find him right now on the sideline, but we'll see if he comes back out here in the second half. But 2 guys who have figured big into this first half, limited or completely out in the second half, is a factor.
And you hate to lose any player, but with the absences already being suffered by the Knights ahead of this game, you hate to lose 2 more key players ahead of this second half. The good news on that front is you do have a 3-score cushion.
Right. So Michael gets into this one. It's an end-over-end kick. It is short, ends up at about the 18-yard line, and Salisi will be there to field. Broke out of 1 tackle, but now met a couple of white jerseys who stand him up at the 30-yard line, and that's where Monroe will start their first drive here of half number 2. As Joe mentioned, down by 3 scores. They will have their work cut out for them, but, of course, with possession here and just working short chunks at a time, looking to work their way back. It looks like they don't have that big play capability, though, Joe. At least that's not something that they flashed in the first half.
Well, the one deep shot they attempted late in that first half, it wasn't a bad-looking ball. Up the sideline, it was well covered, but it was not a bad-looking ball. I think the arm is there. I think the playmakers need to get that separation to give their quarterback a chance.
Macaluso looks once again in the flat. Fodiatis gains the edge and does have the first down. It's a pickup of about 13 yards on the play. Maybe a little less than that, but enough to move.
Starter, once again, they go to the screen pass, and a big gain on the first snap of the second half. The Falcons will need plenty more where that came from.
Macaluso to Fodiatis, senior-to-senior connection here for the Falcons. It has worked in this game. Those wide receiver screens and throws into the flat has really been about 90% of this Falcons offense. And once again, they look there again. Same exact play, Fodiatis, with some routes opening up. Holds it to about a 5 or 6 yard gain, but another good start here on first down. Sets up a 2nd and short. And Joe, while we have a little bit of a break between plays, we want to say hello to the captain who's listening to us on PDF Sportsnet. Jay Jablonski from home is tuning in, and we want to say hi to Jay. So thank you to the captain, Jay Jablonski, sending you a shout-out out there.
Thought you were about to tell me Derek Jeter was watching, Dave.
Yeah, he might be.
Never say never.
There's only one captain for us, though. Near side, trips formation. Macaluso will give underneath, powering ahead towards, and there's a fumble. It came out late, and it is, they haven't gotten a signal yet. Old Bridge thinks they have it for sure. It's Old Bridge football.
And that one is devastating for Monroe, Dave.
Yep, and it was Tajay Walker coming down with it. He was at the bottom of that pile, and they kept churning the legs. I believe that was Sabio on the rush. He kept churning, was looking for that first down marker, and he was getting close, but it allowed the Knights to strip out that ball right at the 50, and Walker got on it on the 49-yard line of Old Bridge.
Dave, that was Justin Valinati on the strip. He got in there and ripped that football out.
Beauty. Valinati turning in an excellent season and just adds another feather in his cap in his junior year. Old Bridge, their first possession of the game started at their own 41. This one starts at the 49 to start half number 2. The fake give, and it's going to be thrown in the flat to Griffith. Griffith gains some speed. One man to beat, and he gets tossed out of bounds inside the 25.
Griffith does it again, Dave. We've seen them get him the football close to the line of scrimmage, and before you know it, he's picked up 20, 30, 40 yards in some cases. A big play receiver, whether it's over the top or on those short completions underneath, sometimes even behind the line of scrimmage. Once again, the Knights hurry to the line.
That was a gain of 27 on first down, and it sets them up at the Monroe 24. A low snap. Hunt does well to bring that down. Powers up through the middle of the defense and extends forward. Good healthy yardage on first down again. It's about a 7-yard gain on the play. Nice job by Hunt to get that one down on the bad snap. Kind of had to reach across his body and low to grab that one.
And as they huddle, here's a look at the big completion to Griffith. Once again, pre-snap motion. That drew in those Falcon defenders in the box. They were looking for the handoff on that sweep motion. They didn't account for Griffith out of that slot position. He caught the pass with momentum and used that great speed to break it into the second level for a big gain.
Absolutely, and patient running as well with blocking materializing in front of him, waiting that one out. Once again, another low snap. Hunt has to pick it up off the ground. He now races middle of the field, throws it in the general direction of Diaz, but that's incomplete. So it'll be third down and about 3 coming up.
I think it's very fortunate for the Knights that the Falcon pass rush hasn't gotten home on these last couple of plays. Or I should say at least on that last play with the missed snap. And as you see here on the replay, it was a low snap, as you called it, Dave. And Hunt recovered nicely. He did get his eyes downfield quickly after that. And I think he actually had a chance to complete that for a touchdown, though he was running against his throwing hand, right-handed quarterback scrambling to his left. Always a tough throw moving in that direction. But I think the opening was there.
4 down territory. It's third down and 3. Lots on the table here. 5 wide receivers. It is Diaz coming in motion. He's going to get, no, it's actually tucked down by Hunt. He goes forward, gets about 2. I believe he's going to be about a yard short of the first down. The first down marker was at the 14. This will be spotted down at the 15. So no thoughts to bring Michael in the game. They're going to keep their offense on the field, and they will huddle here with 1 yard to go.
And Dave, I think if the Falcons don't get this stop, this could really put this game away if you're the Knights. More time will come off the clock, and even if they don't score on this drive, Monroe would then get the football back, pinned against their own end zone. If you're the Falcons, you have to find a way to get your defense off the field here.
They gave it to Dixon last time they were in this 4th and short. This time Hunt lines up under center. Second effort, extending the ball, and we'll see if he got enough. Now, that ball did come out, Joe, on the extension, and the whistle's only just now blew. Now, he's going to be short, Joe, at least according to the referee on the near side and where he's coming in to spot this football. Hunt was definitely held up short of the first down on the initial drive up. Second effort is short.
And they do indeed get ruled short there, and you can say that Hunt's forward progress was stopped when he reached that ball out before it was stripped from his outstretched hand, but it doesn't matter, Dave. He didn't get it.
Right.
And Obviously, you hate to turn it over on downs if you're Old Bridge. That being said, it's not the worst thing. You pin Monroe back again. You're going to force them to go about 85 yards here if that ball is spotted at the 15, as I believe it is. So Monroe still has a long way to go. There's only so many different screen pass looks they can throw at this defense, because right now that is what's working for Monroe.
Yeah. It's been really the only thing that's working. It's 8:40 remaining in the third quarter, so time-wise, still plenty of time to go. The give is underneath tackle for, well, second and third effort. Gets about 4 yards on forward progress, but I don't know, take your pick. There were about 6 white jerseys in there to make the tackle. I think Walker was at the center of it in the first to make impact. And we're going to have a second down and about 6 to go.
Well, that's a good hard run on the play, and those are the kind of carries you like to see if you're Monroe, and those are the kind of carries you need moving forward in this game. On that last attempt on the ground was Devereaux.
Yeah, nothing has really worked up the middle against Old Bridge, so even that 4-yard gain has to be looked at as a big positive. Cut the distance to go, and there's a almost unimpeded to the quarterback look downfield. Nice catch made by Fodiatis. He had single coverage there. Macaluso did well to meet him in stride. First down, Monroe.
And that is easily the best ball we've seen from Macaluso all game. The first time he's really been challenged to throw the ball under pressure, and possibly the first time we've seen him have to throw on the move in such a situation. The only other example I can think of was that fourth down attempt where he was halfway between maybe running it and throwing it. Here, didn't have much of a decision to make. He got that football out and put it right on target down the field.
To his favorite receiver as well, Logan Fodiatis. The give is underneath, trying to string it out, and might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, perhaps a yard by Devereaux. So the sophomore goes right tackle that time, and a gain of 2, make it 2nd and 8.
Anything they can get on first down is a plus, because when you are favoring the short passing game, throwing a lot of screen passes, you do typically pick up a bit on those plays, especially the way the Knights have stacked the box defensively. Sometimes there are more players out there blocking, plus the receiver, than there are defenders in the area. Just look at the box for Old Bridge.
Bunch formation that time, everybody in the box. That pass up the middle, that is caught in between a couple of defenders. Nice job coming down with it was Richter. Promptly put down by Noah Rios on the play, but we do have a player down. I think that is Richter who made the catch. It was right at the sticks, just a bit short. Now they are moving the sticks, so right at the 50-yard line, the Old Bridge 48 actually. It'll be 1st and 10, but we have an injury timeout.
Yeah, initially I thought there was a 3rd and 1 upcoming, but they do indeed move the chains, and I think it was the pass catcher who ended up down on that particular play. From my seated position, I don't have a great look at it.
Yeah, I think it was Richter who got kind of sandwiched between the two defenders. Actually made a nice catch in traffic, back shoulder. Macaluso put that one in hot on him, and good job by Monroe to piece some things together here. This drive started at their own 15-yard line. The defense making the big play of stopping Old Bridge on 4th down inside the red zone, and now they've moved the ball up 38 yards on this drive already.
And still a long way to go, just shy of 50. And that's the advantage you gain when you win the battle of field position early in this half. Monroe had a decently promising start to their last drive. They were moving a bit, but that came to a screeching halt with the fumble at midfield. And even though Old Bridge didn't score, they were able to pin the Falcons back. And when you're battling against very poor starting field position all game, it makes overcoming any deficit that much more difficult. In this case, the deficit is 3 scores.
Yeah, that's the beauty of being up by 3 scores. You can afford to bend here on defense and get that time off the clock. There's a run by Devereaux and nothing happening. A loss of 2 on the play. Loss of 1, actually. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Nice job by Walker once again and Justin Valinati to finish him off. Well, they'll share a half a tackle each. It'll be 2nd and 11.
And they tried to go back to that outside zone look after the success they had on it earlier in the drive. And this time, that Knights defense set the edge immediately, did not give Devereaux any chance to take that outside of the tackle. And that's a really tough spot to be in as a back when you know that as soon as you hit that edge, you have 2, maybe even 3 defenders waiting there for you. It's a lonely feeling in that backfield with the box so crowded.
Trips to the right side this time for Macaluso. He's looked in that direction previously. He does give it up underneath, and he number 0 as well for Old Bridge coming in and aiding to the tackle. Valinati was trying to strip it out. Now it's 3rd and 12.
Once again, Dave, you'll see it here on the replay. Just no chance for the back.
Yep.
Nothing that can be done in a situation like this. And there are just so many white jerseys around the line of scrimmage that it's almost impossible to create lanes for your back in that scenario.
Now they'll need a big play. Sabio in the backfield. They continue to go trips right side. Macaluso looking middle of the field. He's being rushed. Rushed hard. He's forced out of bounds. Gain of maybe 1 on the play. In hot pursuit was Haran. Valinati chased him into the out-of-bounds marker as well. So from midfield on 4th and 11, Monroe obviously in 4-down territory, down by 3 scores. And just going back to what we were saying before, Joe, even with Old Bridge bending on this drive defensively, Monroe has already taken 4 minutes and 4 seconds off the clock on this drive. And it's only gone to 35 yards. So they'll take that trade-off. Run as many plays as you want. 4th and 11. Macaluso under heavy pressure in the flat. No one home. You can make the argument that was intentional grounding. It doesn't matter. Old Bridge will take over on downs with 4:32 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Well, Dave, I think that drive has showed us a big reason why Monroe has leaned so heavily on the screen game. When they've set up Macaluso to pass, be it out of the shotgun or any other look, there's been instant pressure every time. They haven't been able to give him even 2 seconds to make a read and make a throw downfield. When you end up in 3rd and long, 4th and long, and your quarterback doesn't have a chance to get past his first read before he's forced to scramble, it puts him in a position where he cannot succeed. There is no way to pick up a first down with that little protection.
Aiden Rios is in at quarterback, Joe. For Old Bridge, the give is to Dixon up the middle, and he got strung down after a gain of about 6. Good push that time for Dixon, and if not for Lawless, he might still be running.
And when you watch Old Bridge on these extended handoffs where the quarterback is a threat to keep it, the defense often gets caught flat-footed anticipating the quarterback keeper.
Rios again to give to Dixon. Off tackle right, gains the 40, past the 30, the 20. Does he have enough to get him in? He's wiped out at about the 5-yard line. 2 carries, 45 yards for Jeremiah Dixon, the junior. And Old Bridge is set up 1st and goal.
If he was limiting it right now, a good hard run on 1st down between the tackles, this is outside and demonstrates that speed. He's not just a power runner. He has that breakaway speed once he hits the second. He's not just a power runner. He has that breakaway speed once he hits the second level as well. Once again, looking for their 4th touchdown of the game.
Officially, the ball spotted at the 6-yard line. Rios, tough snap. He's going to take it himself. The throw towards the goal line incomplete. Pass was intended for Hunt. So Brody Hunt goes from playing quarterback to being out in the flat there as a would-be receiver on that one. Incomplete, 2nd and goal.
Well, the Knights have been really good around the goal line in this game, and that's definitely something to keep in mind to this point. I don't know if they would kick it here should they end up in 4th down, but that remains to be seen. And obviously, if you're Old Bridge.
And in between the B gap, he is unable to get through. Nice job that time by Aiden Davidson, who was injured earlier in this game, came back from Monroe, makes a big tackle there, 3rd down.
Well, it goes without saying, if you're Monroe, at the very least, you have to force Old Bridge to try and kick it. You never know what can happen. It can go wrong on a field goal attempt. If you let the Knights get in for 6 here, it puts you in a nearly impossible position. 3rd and goal from the 5 here, and the Monroe defense needs a big goal line stand.
Rios continues to be the quarterback. He takes it under center. We've lost vision. He's in. Touchdown. Standing up, Aiden Rios, the freshman, pushes it home. It's 27-0.
And once again, the Knights doing a great job getting many different players involved. Rios on that drive serving as the primary quarterback, and he leads a scoring possession without having to complete a pass. And Dave, that's something else that has been really impressive tonight. Touchdown drives without needing to air the ball out, without needing to complete passes. The Knights have made it look pretty easy this evening. They've really controlled this game on the ground. It's been impressive to watch.
Yep, and again, by my count, I think Old Bridge tonight, maybe with 2 or 3 receptions in this game. Otherwise, it's been all on the ground as Michael adds the point after. He's 4 for 4 in that department, and Old Bridge is up 28-0 with 3:12 to go in quarter number 3, in full control of this one. And the windows of opportunity closing fast here on the Monroe Falcons, if it's not shut already.
Yeah, and I think what we saw on the last drive really provided some clarity regarding what we saw in the first half. We didn't see them take many chances down the field. We didn't see many traditional drop-back passes, a lot of screen looks, a lot of handoffs, and I think we saw why on that last drive. They had to go to a more traditional passing game, whether it be drop-back or, in their case, out of the shotgun, and they simply could not provide enough time for a throw to be made. Brandon Macaluso just didn't have a chance to get the ball out on third down. He had to run with it, duck out of bounds. Didn't have a chance to get it out on fourth down either. Really tough spot to be in as a quarterback, and now a really tough spot to be in for an offensive play caller and for an offensive unit as they've now fallen behind 28-0.
So officially goes down as a 5-yard touchdown run for Aiden Rios, who, as Joe mentioned, lines up at quarterback for that drive and is able to finish it. And Old Bridge on their second drive of the second half have improved on their lead. Complete control here of this one as Michael sends a line drive kick, bouncing at about the 20. That was fumbled, and now down on one knee to corral it was Old Bridge, and Devereaux is dead to rights there. As soon as that knee touches the ground inside of the 20, they will take over.
Dave, hate to sound like a broken record, but once again, poor starting field position for the Falcons. It's something that has plagued them throughout this entire game. And we've seen a couple of Monroe drives go 30, even 40 yards. However, when every drive needs to go 80, it completely changes the game and makes things that much easier on an already very good Knights defense. And if you give Old Bridge 80 yards to defend between the starting field position for an opponent's drive in the end zone, they're going to succeed more often than not in that position.
3:11 to go in the third quarter. So if Monroe is going to attempt any sort of a comeback here in this one, now is the time, without question. Old Bridge shuffling things up defensively. They throw it right side. I don't think either wide receiver or defender expected that. Salisi was the intended receiver. In the neighborhood was Francois, who had a chance at it. 2nd and 10.
Not the start to the drive the Falcons were looking for. It looked like they were trying to set up another screen. The throw was a bit high. Sidearm delivery by Macaluso on that throw, and that nearly ended up in the arms of a Knights defender on the outside.
We'll say the positive there is the ball fakes have been good for both the best, even with LASIK surgery, Joe, but these ball fakes have definitely faked me out at times. Devereaux gets the handoff, but flags will whistle this one down. False start against Monroe, so it'll be 2nd down and 15.
Pre-snap penalties always hurt, but we're at a point in the game now where every yard is precious for Monroe, and they not only need points at this juncture in the game, they need points quickly.
So, assuming Old Bridge is able to close this one out, they would improve to 4-3, but more importantly, 3-1 inside of the division. Games upcoming, of course. We will be back in Old Bridge next week for a home date with the Knights, and then they go on the road for their final game against Colonia. We're not sure if we're covering that game yet. We have not gotten confirmation from Colonia. But here we go on 2nd and 15. Macaluso is going to get sacked for the first time today inside of his own 5-yard line. And take your pick. There were 3 Knights there, led by Zamir Evans. Also in there was Walker. And it's going to be 3rd down and forever coming up inside. Actually, the ball's going to be marked at the 7-yard line where Macaluso was first touched. First down marker at the 25, the 27. So it's 3rd down and 20.
Speaking of impossible positions.
Yeah, and they run it up the middle. And after 2 and 3 surges forward, Devereaux is taken down well short of the first down. Now a late flag comes. And it looks like it's going to go against Monroe as Old Bridge clapping their hands. This could be an unsportsmanlike conduct foul. And if it is, it'll back them up half the distance.
Before the foul, it was going to be about a 4th and 20, and I don't think there's any chance that Falcons would go for this. So they'll be setting up to punt from inside their own end zone if this penalty is indeed against Monroe.
Yeah, forward progress ended at the 10. It's an unsportsmanlike. Actually, they're offsetting fouls, Joe. So actually,
I think
believe
it's against Old Bridge,
Yeah, it
Dave.
was called against Old Bridge. So an automatic first down after a 15-yard penalty will put the ball at the 24-yard line. Well, they're saying it's 4th down, Joe, but unsportsmanlike, that should be an automatic first, no?
I thought so.
Interesting. The ball spotted at the 24.
All right, 4th down it is.
4th down and 3. I don't get this.
You got to go for it now then, don't
Yeah,
you?
well, they are for sure. I know, they're punting. Didn't even see the punter in the backfield. Got shaded out of that one. Catch is made at the 45-yard line and still with it at the 40 and inside the 40. That was taken by Johnny Serrano. The recipient of a touchdown here today gets a nice return out of that one, about a 20-yard return on the play, and will set Old Bridge up at the Monroe 38-yard line.
Well, that is one of the more interesting penalty assessments I've ever seen. I'm not sure if perhaps every personal foul does not result in a first down. Maybe they picked up 2 on the carry and the 15 yards wasn't enough.
I don't know. That might be a high school rule that we are not familiar with. But the public address announcer did call it unsportsmanlike conduct against the Knights. That should have been 15 yards and an automatic first down. But we stand corrected. Doesn't matter. Old Bridge has the ball. The 38-yard line. Hunt still in at quarterback. The give will be to Dixon. Flags are down. Dixon gets stood up at about the 30 and ends up at about the 29-yard line. So a nice pickup of about 7 on the play, but this one is going to be a holding against Old Bridge and will bring things back.
Well, the Knights haven't made many mistakes tonight, and if there was ever a point in the game where you could afford them, it's now. Up 28-0. That being said, if you have a chance to score a touchdown, you're certainly going to take it. And in a game that is a bit closer, these penalties can really hurt you. The habits that you form at this point in the game are the habits that carry over into the next one. So at the very least, if you're Old Bridge, you want to try and keep it clean during the final 13 minutes of this game. However, the hold will bring up a 1st and 20.
One of their touchdowns tonight came on a 1st and 20. So Old Bridge has been able to get themselves out of these holes, but they're backed up here. This is Dixon. Off tackle right, gets put down after a gain of about 2 or 3 on the play. So it'll be about a 2nd and 17 coming up after the gain of 3. But content to keep things in bounds here. Might have one more play before this 3rd quarter comes to an end.
And I think the rest of the way we'll probably see Old Bridge keep the ball primarily on the ground. That being said, they have surprised me before, so don't discount the pass completely. I just think with a 28-point lead, you try and protect the guys you have right now. You're already down some injured players. You don't want to see that number grow. But backfield is empty, Dave.
It sure is, except Diaz comes in. That's another bad snap low. Hunt is able to turn it upfield and get about close to 4 or 5 yards on the play. Snap was low, but Brody kind of saw it to the ground. 3rd down and 14 coming up.
That should do it for the 3rd quarter.
Yes, sir. So we are through 3 here. We turn our attention to the 4th. Old Bridge with a 28-0 lead. We'll step aside, take a short break. When we come back, we'll get you ready for the final 12 minutes here live from Monroe. 28-0 is our score. We are back here live from Monroe High School, Monroe, New Jersey. Short distance from the township of Old Bridge, when right now the visitors with a 28-0 lead. They face a third down and long here as we get our fourth quarter underway. Old Bridge with 7 points in the first, 14 in the second, added a touchdown in the third and looking for more. Looks like Rios is back in at quarterback. And it is going to be Rios. He's got a lot of room. The 30, the 20, and sprung out of bounds at about the 17-yard line.
And Dave, how about the speed of Rios? I know it's caught me by surprise, and you have to imagine that at times it has caught this defense by surprise for the Falcons. Take a look at this burst out of the backfield. We've seen him carry the football in this game already, but when you're carrying it between the tackles, you don't often get a chance to show off that breakaway speed. He hit the hole quickly and certainly got a chance to show off that speed right there on that last carry. He was into the second level quickly. He's still out there at a wideout position. Maybe they motion him into the backfield pre-snap, but an impressive play from Rios.
As Hunt comes back in at quarterback to take this shotgun. Snap with Dixon right behind him. It will be Dixon. Can't gain the edge, though, as coming in to make the play was Velasco. Minimal gain on the play, maybe a gain of 1 or 2. It'll be second down and long coming up, but clock continues to run.
That's the important part. The clock continues to run, and as I said before, Dave, I think you play it safe with your play calling here. You try and protect your guys as much as you can and make sure you get to next week as healthy as possible.
Yeah, you figure the game, you come in where your starting quarterback is out for the game. It's going to put a heavy emphasis on the run game, and it has. But Hunt and Rios have not been obligated to put the ball up in the air. Run game has worked amazingly in this game, as we do have movement on the line, the left side of that offensive line, and it looks like it will back up Old Bridge here. Zachary Armstrong guilty of that infraction.
And Dave, something I'll be really interested to look at once the box score is available and the stats are compiled. How many plays in this game for Old Bridge have gone over 30 yards?
Yeah.
Maybe 25. There have been quite a few plays that have gone for 25 plus in this game. The touchdown through the air and multiple more plays on the ground, many of which were by different players. In fact, all of them may have been by different players.
Rios back in at quarterback. Second down and 13. The fake, and he's going to take it all the way to the corner and inside the 5 again. He's put out of bounds by Jules Johnson, but Rios has almost broken a few of them here. He already has a touchdown in this half. That could have been another big one.
Well, give Jules Johnson a lot of credit. He's been on an island twice where he very easily could have said, you know what, it's been a long night, it's cold out here, I don't need to chase this guy down in the open field from behind. That's the second time he's pursued Rios from the backside and ushered him out of bounds and or down to the turf on a given play. Both of those carries by Rios, the last two, could have easily gone for touchdowns.
Now they snap it here from the 6-yard line, and it will be Rios giving up the middle, and it's taken inside the 5 by Dixon to about the 3-yard line. Second down and goal coming up. Joe, one of the things we didn't mention too was also out in this game is Old Bridge's center, Michael Karaniewski, and the Knights are doing a great job in his absence as well in the interior of that offensive line. Not easy to lose your center.
No.
A lot of people say the center is the second most important position on an offensive team, right next to the quarterback. But they've done a nice job in his absence as well, as doing the snapping tonight is Preston Luke, the sophomore. It's Rios in the backfield. The give is to Dixon. Dixon working off tackle right. Flags are down, but Dixon is in for the touchdown. And we'll see what the result of this is. In the direction and in the neighborhood of holding, and that's what we'll have here on this one.
I'm not sure the band has realized it yet, Dave. I don't think the cheerleaders have realized it either.
Well, nice play and a nice run by Dixon to gain the edge, but perhaps holding was the reason why. So it'll be second down and goal from about the 13. And Brody Hunt got the play call and is now relaying it into the huddle, so we'll see who takes the snap here. Shades of 1970s Dallas Cowboys here, Joe, changing quarterbacks on every play. But it is Rio still operating out of the shotgun. Rio with Dixon right behind him. Does get the give. Dixon meets a wall. Surges forward for about a gain of 1 or 2. But that's it. 3rd down and goal coming up from just outside the 10.
Well, if they were going to put it in the air one final time in this game, now might be the time. 3rd and goal from well outside the end zone. I'm not even sure I'd risk it here, but I think they'll probably take one shot at the end zone.
Well, again, no live statistics, obviously, but I believe that Old Bridge has thrown the ball 4 times in the game. They're 2 for 4 by my count. A couple of incompletions. There was a drop, the touchdown catch, and then there was a pass in the flat to Griffith that he turned into a big gain. Let's see what they do here. Dixon is in motion, and he will get the carry. No, it is Hunt. And Hunt was met by a wall at the 10. He collides right into that wall of purple, and looks like special teams unit will come on. Joe, we're going to see a field goal attempt for Lucas Michael.
Well, I certainly will not argue with running the football there and sending out the kicking unit. As I said, we want to play it safe in this final quarter, get to next week as healthy as possible, and you can get your kicker an extra rep in colder conditions on the road and in a game where the situation doesn't call for a high-pressure attempt. These are the kind of kicks that, as a kicker, you love to have the chance to take.
Well, dead center of the field, 26-yard field goal for the left-footed Michael. He's been 4 for 4 on extra points tonight, and that one would have been good from 35 or 40. No doubter, and Old Bridge has improved on their lead. It's now 31-0.
That kick was perfect, Dave, and as you said, it would have been good for much further. That's exactly what you like to see from your kicker in any situation, but now up by 31. Old Bridge will send their defense out onto the field. You'd have to guess maybe twice more. Perhaps this could be the final time if they're able to take the rest of the clock with them after getting the football back one last time. But if you're Monroe, obviously, you'd love to take something positive from this game on the offensive side of the ball, and I think the big puzzle for them to solve comes in the form of protecting their quarterback. When they've dropped back to pass and when they've tried to pass even out of the shotgun, there has been no time for the quarterback to throw the ball, and that's something that has to change if they're going to break back to the 500 mark, moving forward and perhaps back above it later in the season, as both of these teams came in 3-3. The Knights headed for 4-3 with a win.
I believe we'll probably see a lot of the reserve players come in now for the Knights as well and get some reps, especially knowing how banged up this Old Bridge team was coming in, and they suffered a couple of big injuries in this one as well. At least we never saw Kavas back in the game. We didn't see Allsbrook come back into the game either. And a little bit of a longer week to rest here. A rare Thursday night lights game for us, Joe. It's, I think, our first ever Thursday night football game, at least on the PDF Sports Network.
I think you're right.
Yep, but they'll get a nice little reprieve here. Enjoy the long weekend coming up as well. And this is an end-over-end kick that will end up at about the 15-yard line, taken by Salisi. Salisi is able to gain the middle of the field, and he turns over to the right side, and Old Bridge does well to just shove him out inside the 40-yard line. There are no flags, and Monroe will be positioned nicely.
And I spoke about it earlier in the game. Special teams can really set your offense up in a position to succeed. And right there, the big return does just that. A great job by Anthony Salisi on that run back. And just like that, the Falcons are deep into plus territory. This drive looks like it's going to start just inside of the Old Bridge 40-yard line. So I think if you're Monroe here, the rest of the field, very obviously 4-down territory. I think that helps your offense out quite a bit. Whatever your best plays are in this spot to get the ball out of your quarterback's hands and into the hands of a playmaker, you break all of them out right here, try and get some points on the board, and get feeling better about the way this game ends for you, despite the lopsided score.
46-yard return for Salisi. Sets up Monroe inside the 40. There's the jet sweep pass to number 32, I believe that was, Joe, who I do not have on my roster. So, unfortunately, I believe that was number 32 on the carry, but gets about 2 yards on the play. Good job by Old Bridge to sniff that one out.
That's a look we haven't seen tonight, Dave.
Yeah, that's right. First time we've seen that. And indeed, 32 not on our roster, so we can't give him his flowers for that play. Either way, Macaluso look in the flat. There's a play that we've seen to number 32. Gains the 30-yard line and pushed out promptly there. That's going to be close to a first down. They have about 7 or 8 on the play before going out of bounds. It will be third and very short, less than a yard. Monroe working quickly here with 7:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Macaluso continues to work out of the shotgun and will look in the flat. Once again, pass is complete, first down is there, and they work it up to about the 25-yard line. It's going to be nightmarish doing these stats, Joe, after this game to get tackles credited to the right players. Look like Endaz was in there first.
Yeah.
Gang tackling. Team tackle, I guess.
Done my best to help you with the down distance clock
and
my color commentary, but boy, when you're outside without the comfort of a press box, it's a tough job. A lot of respect to the members of our crew who do this game in and game out. It is not easy.
We're under 7 minutes to play here. Old Bridge up by a bunch, 31-0, and Monroe works, trips right side. Long snap, the give is underneath. And surging forward for about a gain of 5 is Sabio. Gets it to about the 20-yard line, so right on the cusp of the red zone. More gang tackling that time for Old Bridge. Looked like Mercado was in there, who's now coming out of the game. First one in there. Evans, of course, who continues to stay in the game, in on that tackle as well. Call it a 2nd down and 6. Taking a wild guess because our
I can't see the sticks.
Vision
so
is obscured.
I was going by the scoreboard, which initially read 2nd and 10.
Okay. The throw in the flat to number 32. Big pile up there. Clock will continue to run. Nice job that time by Valinati to take down number 32 right at the line of scrimmage. It looks like maybe a gain of 1. So we'll call this one a 3rd and 6. Short 6, long 5. Take your pick. As we come close to 5.5 minutes to go. Snap, Macaluso in the corner towards the end zone, and the catch is incomplete. Unable to see it through to the ground was Salisi. That was a nice ball by Macaluso. The coverage was good for the Knights, and Salisi just couldn't bring it into the ground.
Well, Macaluso's been forced to throw downfield, and in that case, he did so with very limited protection. He almost got obliterated from the blind side right as he threw that ball out, or I should say from head on. But either way, that was another really good ball. Well covered, as you said, Dave, by the Knights. Initially, I thought that had been caught for a touchdown. It looked like it came out when the football hit the turf. So that brings up 4th down here. You have to think the Falcons will go for it. Now, we had a timeout on what side, Dave?
Old Bridge.
All right,
yeah,
get that on our scoreboard here.
And, you know, if you're Monroe here, obviously you're coming back down 31-0 with 5 minutes left. Your chances are next to nothing, but they would love to crack the scoreboard here and disrupt the 0 on the board, give themselves something to look forward to for next week. This is a Monroe team that had a win in their grasp last week against North Hunterdon. They came back, scored what could have been the game-tying touchdown. They decided to go for 2 to end the game, and their run failed. They end up losing 22-21 in a game that they could have taken overtime perhaps, but they wanted the win. They didn't get it, and now are about to suffer another loss here on their home field. 3rd and 4, Macaluso, low snap, fields it nicely, and coming in on him, the throwaway, it doesn't really matter. The sack will be issued to Burkazi Justin, and Old Bridge will take over. With 5:17 to go.
Yeah, the scoreboard in the venue read third down. It was fourth down.
I thought it was fourth, yeah.
Yeah, I was questioning myself
Now
when I saw the scoreboard, but it was fourth down. You were right.
There is a flag, and this might be for intentional grounding, as that pass did not reach the line of scrimmage, nor was anyone in the neighborhood. It looks like Old Bridge will decline. So that's what I was thinking, too. It's a loss of down regardless. But doesn't really matter here. Old Bridge with 5:17 left. Can't exactly line up in victory formation with 5 minutes to go, but essentially here they give some of their reserve players an opportunity to get in the game, although in the key positions still have the starters out there, Joe. It is Riosin at quarterback, but Dixon behind him. Serrano lined up closest to us here. Wide on one side. The give is to Dixon up the middle. He moves the pile along a couple of yards. And the clock continues to run here. Gain of about 2 on the play. Once again, we will be back here, or not here, but in Old Bridge for some Old Bridge football next week. We hope that you'll join us for more football, and obviously wherever Old Bridge goes, so will we.
And I think with the win tonight, Dave, they take a big step toward a potential spot in the playoffs. This was essentially a must-win.
Yep, I agree with that, as Dixon falls into the pile, forward once more for a gain of maybe 1. Now we have a late whistle here, as maybe coming in late on the tackle was Monroe. We'll see what results out of this.
Well, there is a flag on the far side of the field.
And it will be marched up 15 yards, so it'll be an automatic first down here for Old Bridge. The ball will be spotted at the 40. So Monroe, tempers hot a little bit. They're getting run over here on their home field. Exceptions made, and now they took a bad penalty.
Well, for what it's worth, Dave, the second half has been much better than the first half. First half, they did have one nice drive as they'll hand it off to Dixon here with a lot of running room up the near side.
And he does reach the corner at the 30. Needs a block. He's inside the 10 and gets pushed out inside the 5. How many times have we said that today? But another huge run here. That one for 55 yards. And it'll be another first and goal for Old Bridge. 4:05 to go.
Well, I have to take a look down the Knights roster and go through every player who's been involved in a play of over 25 yards. I think we had Griffith on one carry, if I'm not mistaken, that went for 25 plus. We had Rios go for 25 plus. We have Hunt who went for 25 plus. Dixon has gone for 25 plus. The touchdown to Serrano went for 25 plus. Am I missing any?
I think you got them all, Joe.
They've had 5 or 6 players go for 25 yards or more in a single play.
And here's the run for Dixon, powering towards the goal line, touchdown. So Dixon gets his score, and the lead balloons to 37-0.
Old Bridge has done it all well tonight, as it looks like the clock will continue to run here in the venue. So the clock will remain running the rest of the way as the Knights go in front, 37-0. But Dave, as I mentioned, so many different players have been a part of huge plays tonight, and here it's Dixon who gets rewarded with the touchdown carry following that big 55-yarder earlier in the drive.
Yeah, and Joe, with the exception of the Serrano play, the passing play, all of it on the ground pretty much. Jaden Griffith had a good catch and run that was a screen pass at the line of scrimmage that he took almost to the house. But, man, they have gobbled up the yards on the ground, and when the statistics are done for this game, we will undoubtedly see Old Bridge's best rushing performance of the season, probably on the heels of one of their worst rushing performances last week against Morristown, where they were really grounded for the most part. But the extra point was good, right, Joe?
Yes.
All right, so the scoreboard at the field has to catch up, but it is 38-0 with 3:20 to go in the fourth quarter. Hunterdon Central is the next opponent for Old Bridge. That game will be next Friday night. Joe and I will be there for another huge one here for Old Bridge, but it's going to feel good, Joe, on a short week coming in and really laying it to Monroe.
Yeah, you have to feel great about this game. There's no other way to put it. They've dominated this game, start to finish. Whenever they've been backed up, in the rare instances they've been backed up in their own territory defensively, they've stood. But obviously, the highlight of this game is going to be what they accomplish on the offensive side of the ball. We know how good this defense is. We've seen it all season. I mentioned it during the pregame. They always make things difficult for the opposition. Tonight, the offense would not allow the Falcons to get off the field in most cases. They did a tremendous job, minus several key players. The defense also missing some key players as well, but the offense really the standout from this performance here tonight.
Salisi fields at about the 3-yard line, and a good special teams play at first. Salisi bounces out of a tackle, but grounded just outside the 10. Monroe with 3:06 to go in this game. And, Joe, they did it all tonight, did Old Bridge, without Brody Nugent. And that is a huge lift for this team.
And we've seen, obviously, Nugent with more than one huge play on the ground this year, but I just can't get over how so many different players have managed to do the same here tonight. Both the quarterback 2 and quarterback 3 behind Nugent that we've seen tonight here in Hunt and Rios, they both had huge carries. They've both been in command of this offense when they've been out there on the field as well, and you have to like what you've seen from that duo. This team in very good hands at the quarterback position right now.
So the ball spotted at the 10-yard line is where Monroe will take over. 2:20 and counting in this game as we point. And there's the give up the middle and stringing it out to the left side. Minimal gain that time by Sabio. And it'll be second down and about 10 here as we approach 2 minutes to go. Here in regulation time, 38-0. Old Bridge on the cusp of their first shutout of the season. And another one of these games where they just got off to a huge start. Scored on their first drive of the game and never looked back.
Well, I said it during the pregame, Dave. You wanted to give your defense an opportunity to play with a lead, and as we've seen them do before, the Knights went straight down the field on their opening drive, put up 6, immediately put their defense in a good position, and they didn't really need it tonight, but a great effort from both sides of the ball all evening.
Macaluso gives to Devereaux. Devereaux gets held up and taken down. Francois in on the play, along with Valinati. Gain of about 2 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 7 as we approach 1 minute to go here in the final quarter. And, you know, we talk about how good this defense is, Joe, but really when your offense stakes you to a big lead early, which is what they did, it allows you to play so much looser, so much more with confidence on that defense, as if you didn't need it, or at least as if you didn't have it already, the way this defense is playing. When you're playing with a lead, you know, moments into a game, it just makes a world of difference.
And what it let them do tonight, Dave, it let them put 8 in the box. They had 8 defenders around the line of scrimmage just about every play.
Devereaux on the ground, slow developing play to the left side, and they power it over to about the 15-yard line, but that should do it. The final 20 seconds are ticking off. Old Bridge will improve to 4-3 on the season overall. More importantly, in the National Gold Division, 3-1. For Monroe, they will fall to 3-4. They will fall to 1-2 inside of the division. A game that meant a great deal for both teams. And Old Bridge with a 38-0 emphatic win. Joe, offensively, defensively, and even on special teams, Old Bridge left nothing to doubt tonight.
Absolutely nothing, Dave. From the start of this game all the way until the final seconds just moments ago, Old Bridge dominated this game. On the offensive side, they were rarely stopped throughout this game. I believe they were stopped twice in the 4 quarters. If I'm not mistaken, they were held to a field goal on one drive, and I believe they were stopped twice. They probably had the ball I would say 9 times in the game, so that's pretty good. 7 of 9 coming away with points. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, they had a turnover and they had one punt, but
5 of 8, 5 of 7, whatever it was. A great effort for Old Bridge in this game. They scored 5 touchdowns and they scored the 1 field goal. So they scored 6 times. They probably had the ball 8 times. Either way, great showing for the offense. And what haven't we said about the defense already this season? They put up another shutout effort here against the Falcons, and obviously the Falcons had some issues protecting the quarterback. We saw that throughout the evening, and I think it was really exposed once they were forced to get away from that screen game. But if you're Monroe and you can solve those issues protecting your quarterback, I think we saw tonight that when given the opportunity, Macaluso has an arm. He can throw down the field, and he can throw it well. We saw on that near touchdown. We saw it late in the first half when he had to throw downfield. The coverage was tight, but the ball looked good. It was on target, and I think if you give him some time, he can make you some plays at quarterback. Also, the Monroe defense obviously was put in a tough spot, given that their offense couldn't stay on the field for long, sustained drives. I think if the offense can protect their quarterback, they will be able to sustain drives a bit better. That will in turn help their defense.
So, Joe, Old Bridge had to come off of a short week. Now they get a long week, 8 days now until their next game against Hunterdon Central, where they'll look to piece together, start another winning streak of their own. But that will do it for us here at Monroe High School, for all of us here at PDF. Thank you to everybody here at Monroe for having us. But for all of us here, for our camera operator, Patrick Gialorenzo, for my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman, I'm David Pizzuto, wishing you a great rest of the evening, a great rest of the week. Thank you for joining us here on PDF. Once again, your final score, it's Old Bridge 38 and Monroe High School nothing.